sound. Check this out.
Smash that.
Welcome one and all to another amazing night here in Tranquility.
We absolutely are in for a treat of a match here tonight, no question about it.
And the grenades from Pompu eliminate everybody on the field.
Damage from something as well is going to be applied there to Death Blossom, and it's going to be huge. Fighting 3.
The double kill with the Bastion ulti? Alright, I see you guys.
Be well. Look to find a stick there. Finds the stick. They find two with it.
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
And Cam with the 4-man punch off the map.
Experience tranquility.
It all comes down to how comfortable you are on those characters. So just interesting.
It doesn't matter what our team comp is, as long as we're going with vibes from ourselves, then you can sort of do it. I talked with him before, and Poseidon like running the Junker Queen comp, Santa Win like running the Diva comp. So two sort of different styles, but at the same time could go one of one. First map today is Busan, so we're seeing sort of like that Brawl can fit in it, Poke can fit in it, sort of all of those three different styles with it. But what do you think we'll see more come out of all three of these maps?
Yeah, definitely a lot more of the Brawl style. You know, on the inside point of mecha base, very heavy Brawl favor. You can see some teams get away with a little bit more pokier comp. Very Brawl. And really the other point is obviously see dive want to play some long range, especially on downtown where you have such good dominant high ground. But personally, I think we're just going to see some Brawl. It's what most teams have been just favoring, and instead of having to learn like a specialist comp on one map, might as well just run one Brawl comp that you can kind of get away with all of Busan. But, you know, going to be interesting to see what kind of adjustments these teams make based on what the other team is playing, because there are going to be some matchups that are just going to be very tough, and going to be very, very interesting to see how they react to that.
Yeah, and especially too, like you said, there's sort of the downtown is a much more dive heavy widow centric map, but especially if you do have a team that could just W key onto the core, you're gonna win that matchup a lot of times, because even if you have that widow just sort of standing off, getting a pick or two here and there, if your entire team's dead, can't really do anything about it. So it'll be interesting to see when we go into this map what comps we do see come out of both these teams, and especially too, like you said, this is Discord tier. We're going off straight vibes. I don't want to try to analyze this too much because it isn't the highest of the highs where, hey, we're going to play this comp because it has X counters and everything like that. We're just going off vibes tonight and just sort of trying to have some fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, specifically what you were talking about where the poke kind of just gets ran over by Rush. I really like that point because that's just something that we can see. And a lot of times just playing first is going to win you the fights. And even that's going to happen in a lot of the brawl matchups too. Typically the team that is going to play first and play together is going to win a lot of these matchups, especially when there is not a huge difference in individual skill, right? I mean, obviously we'll have to see what happens in this first round, but, you know, I expect both these teams to be at least pretty even, but we'll see what characters these teams want to roll out on for this first point.
Yeah, and especially too, like we said, we talked about it a bit. It's a 1 in 3 chance, but we did get downtown. Sort of, I don't want to say sort of the same thing. Poseidon going with a much more of a dive comp. Phantom Wind going with that Diva comp that they said they liked a lot. I mean, Diva outpokes Winston a bit, especially with just being able to shoot him with shotguns in close range. So, but it's going to be difficult for Poseidon to be able to get some dive heroes here, especially with all of them being able to just sort of run away as soon as they go after him.
Yeah, I mean, we'll really see what Phantom Wind does. If they're able to take tempo, they can play very well into this comp. The only thing is Poseidon has at least some decent high grounds to play, especially in this first one. You're going to see them take that room, or at least try and get their backline set up in a good spot. If they can get set up on a solid high ground, it's going to be very hard for Phantom Wind to really get a dive going because they have the Moira Lucio. But it looks like the Widow's going to get very low and forced out.
Yeah, Widow gets forced out first. Blue the Color, I can't talk today. Blue the Color also gets poked out almost immediately and almost ends up falling, but that is Serenity falling first. Trying to find it, but that's especially when your Moira falls first, you can't really do anything about it. Dive comes in for the side of Poseidon, isn't able to really clean up anything. Let Davion. Davion Max does fall, and that's the go button for that. Blue the Color finds 2 more, and it's just trying to clean up the entirety of the fight. Good first engage by Poseidon, just making sure, hey, we're gonna bait them in, and then as soon as they go in, that's our go button as soon as we're able to find that opening pick.
Yeah, and I mean, really it comes down to Phantom Wind too. They just weren't playing all that fast, and now you're gonna see a lot more rates, which is just a lot more offensive. So Widow kind of, you get that pick, and then that's kind of your initiator. But now that you have the tracing, you can actually do a lot more in these fights. But it was really good by Poseidon because Blue the Color got very low, but was able to just kite out, sustain, and then let the DPS get value. But a huge pick by Foxer to start off this fight.
Yeah, and that's the go button as well. Blue the Color trying to go in, maybe trying to go a little bit aggressive, just try to spite them back. But yeah, like you said, just that fight, trying to be able to sort of poke and prod with Foxer right there, just trying to keep it. But Blue the Color just keep on trying to just hold this high ground, making sure, hey, we're not going to get it. Does fall to about 100 HP, but is able to get backed up as well as amped up from the Ana, playing from far ground. Has about 25%. The primal range comes on in from Blue the Color, trying to just disrupt the offense from Phantom Wind and just trying to find anything low. Zibble and Erica does end up trying to fall low. Dupe comes in from the side of Mamino, trying to get a heal off. It just goes into the straight backline of it, trying to keep everybody alive, making sure we can do it. 18 does come out onto the Davon. Bomb comes out as well, trying to make sure we can find something. Foxer does end up falling to the dash, just trying to clean up everything else. Phantom Wind with the blade alive, so maybe they could try to pop it here and try to find something, but it looks like all of Poseidon is able to just fall back, dashes away, and that is the point flip as well for Phantom Wind.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to get this backline here. Oh, the DMAC comes out. It's a little unfortunate, but they'll be able to get these cleanup kills. So, I mean, the thing that we saw there is Phantom Wind was just they were doing a very good job of taking space. And in theory, the longer these fights go, Poseidon should have the advantage because they have the Echo, because you have kind of a nade rotation with the Ana, and you also can build up Nano, you can do all of these things like that. But Phantom Wind was able to win that fight, and they really didn't need to invest all that many ults. I mean, obviously in this fight, they're not going to have the Diva Mech at least initially, but you have 3 ults to win this fight. So we'll see what they try and do here, but it's a pick on Davion already. Yeah,
Davion not in the mech, is able to fall off to the side of Milk on the Echo. Milk finds another one onto the Lucio, just trying to stay alive and try to turn this fight immediately. Rally does come out for the side of Lubricated Calf, trying to find some more stuff, but Blue the Color is able to find up, and it's already in the kill feed for Poseidon, just trying to clean up this fight and try to make it so that way they can try to catch it before the 50% for Phantom Wind.
Yeah, just a little bit unfortunate. Davion gets picked off early, right before they get that mech back, but I mean, still, Phantom Wind didn't really commit that many ults in that fight. They only committed the Pulse Bomb, and now they're going to have both support ults. They're going to have the Blade. This should be a fight win for them, but if this fight goes on pretty long, Poseidon can build some of these ults too and make it pretty even.
And especially too, Zibdal looking for this blade, I'm guessing. Goes in, try to get Boop back in, is almost slept, does find one, but is able to fall immediately to Murph, who does get the revenge kill. Blue in the kill feed as well. Davion finds one, Serenity does find another one with the Coalescence, so that's 2 ultimates pop for the side of Phantom Wind. Just trying to clean it up and getting it to 99 is Poseidon, so that's them taking that fight, saying, hey, yes, you guys got it, but you did pop 2 ultimates there, so now we're gonna come back with 3 of our own and we just gotta win this one fight and win in overtime, and then we get the first point.
Yeah, it's going to be such an important fight, obviously, because we have to see what happens with this beat here, because it could be very impactful in this fight if they're able to shut down both of the DPS slots from Poseidon, because, I mean, it's kind of hard that you don't really know where you're going to engage with them. I mean, you can look for the dupe to engage, but if you don't really have a good in, then it's going to be hard to get picks.
Yeah, the dupe does come in onto the Diva of Davion. Still has that bomb and still trying to stay alive. Blue almost falls, but is able to get a pick onto Serenity with the Primal Rage, trying to stay alive and trying to make sure everything else can come out. And Ellie does pop the beat, trying to keep everybody, all of the Phantom went up. Zebdal does find Fox, trying to keep them up, but now it's all Blue in the kill feed. Marikos matches the Pulse Bomb, is able to find Blue, and it looks like Poseidon might be trying to back off, but they're only at 95%. Phantom Wind is trying to keep this up, and if they don't touch it now, then that's Phantom Wind's map, and it is.
Yeah, and really, Phantom Wind does a good job, but they were able to sustain the dive for the most part. I do think one person got picked, or the DMAC, something like that happened, but they were able to survive for the beat to come out, was able to kind of negate the Primal Rage and the Duplicate at the same time, and they were just able to win the fight in the long run because they were able to get a good Pulse Bomb, able to get those picks like that, and especially in these brawl fights, I mean, one thing to look at is the Moira Lucio is going to do better in the brawl fights unless you had a rally or you have a nano that's going to really help you sustain that. We'll see so now Poseidon's going to go over to the Doomfist. It's going to allow them to probably play even faster than they were playing on that dive comp, but we're going to see Phantom Wind sticking to that Diva Moira Lucio as they said they would. So, I mean, this is kind of what I was talking about. We have to see the adaptations on the side of both teams. Obviously, Phantom Wind, they were able to win the first map. They don't really need to adapt all that much, but Poseidon got to make a change if you want to win.
And then we do see some few changes come out. Murph going off of the Ana onto the Kiriko. Doomfist both Milk switching off the Echo onto that. Foxer is falling low, is able to get fully healed up. Blue just trying to find a pick and is just trying to find an opening punch. Isn't really able to do so. Phantom Wind finds their target and they finally get him. Milk is end up falling. That's the go button for the side of Phantom Wind. Finds Calf as well and is just trying to stay alive and make sure they don't find anybody else while cleaning up the rest of Poseidon.
Yeah, very good fight from Phantom Wind there. I mean, you just saw them. They just walked onto the Soldier. They were able to get the pick, and that's kind of going to be the problem where if you're going to run the Soldier, you have to kind of expect that. Phantom Wind is on such a mobile comp that they are going to outrun you. And it's going to be hard sustaining these off angles like that. And if you're Poseidon, the best chance you have is going to be trying to take like at least a 4v5, and then hopefully your Soldier gets a good off angle, but it looks like they're on a Soldier again.
Yeah, Milk falls immediately. That as soon as they see him, that's your go button to go right onto him. Poseidon are trying to flip the point, so they do almost get that flip, but aren't able to fully get it. And that's Milk switching back over onto the Echo. The fight's still going on though. Foxer does end up falling to America to the counterpart. Just trying to stay alive is the side of Poseidon and just trying to regain this fight. They do almost have that cap, but Blue ends up falling, and that's just a cleanup battle now for Phantom Wind.
Yeah, really like the Echo swap. Obviously, we were just talking about they're going to outrun the Soldier. Echo is going to be able to stay in the air, and there's nobody on the side of Phantom Wind that can really contest them. Although Phantom Wind, they're coming up on a lot of ults right here. They can play fast with the Coalescence, and Poseidon really does not have an answer. They don't have a support ult. I mean, the Doomfist can get out using their own ult, but other than that, the Coalescence is probably going to get a lot of value in this fight.
Yeah, Coalescence. Doomfist does come in. Foxer looking for that Pulse Bomb. Does able to stick it, but only gets the ground. Erica does copy it and does get Murph. Coalescence comes out as well for the side of Trinity. Try to clean up, but does get punched out of it completely. But again, it's all Blue in the kill feed. Zibdal finds 2 with the punch. Milk does find an ollie, but isn't able to keep alive. Doomfist just trying to stay alive. And again, it's all Blue in the kill feed for Phantom Wind, getting over 75%. Poseidon, they just have one more fight left in them, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, they're going to have the Doomfist ult for the recontest to maybe able to build that Kitsune rush, but the way Phantom Wind is playing, they're able to get these picks so early on in the fight. It's so hard for Poseidon to build these ults. And now they're going over the Sojourn, going to force them to play even slower. Hopefully you can get your Sojourn set up on a good angle, but the way that Phantom Wind is playing, they're abusing these angles very hard, and they're just playing very fast. And see what they do with this blade here.
Yeah, they really are. Phantom Wind or Poseidon finally going in with 1% else. The blade comes out, trying to find one. Finally finds Cave, and that's both the supports are falling for the side of Poseidon. Sidbill does end up falling. Milk finds Serenity, so that's two. That's even for both sides. Milk does find America, so maybe that's a good pick there. But again, maybe it's a little bit too late with Davion still here. Doesn't have the bomb, but is able to try to clean it everybody up. Finds 3, and that's the point for Phantom Wind, and that's map 1 going that way as well.
Yeah, very clean from Phantom Wind. Yeah, obviously that Diva comp looked very, very good for them. They were just able to play fast. They played first, and that's kind of what I was talking about in the beginning is, you know, the team that's going to play first and play together is going to win a lot of the time. And that's what Phantom Wind did, is they were, a lot of times, they didn't even have to commit a lot of ults. They were able to save them to when they really needed them, and it just worked out for them. But, I mean, we'll see what Poseidon wants to do in these next couple of maps. It seems that Phantom Wind's going to be sticking on this comp, so maybe you want to find a map that it's going to be harder to run the Diva or Lucio. Maybe a map that you can abuse high grounds on or something like that. Or maybe you want to swap to the Zarya. Maybe you want to swap off these characters that you probably feel more comfortable on. But, I mean, I'm very interested to see what Poseidon does, but Phantom Wind, they're looking very good right now. They're just playing first, they're playing fast, and it's looking very good.
Yeah, and they look well drilled on that style as well. A lot of teams like, hey, we like this comp, but a lot of times like they're like, yeah, we like it. We're not really, I don't want to say we're 100% at it, but they look 100% on that, especially just the dives look clean. They look like they knew who the targets was going to be all 100% of the time. As soon as they saw the soldiers come out, like, hey, that's our number 1 target. We're going to try to scout him, find him, and then immediately all 5 of us are going to be on him. And that immediately makes it a 4v5 versus Poseidon. And then it's just Poseidon. Yeah, they're trying to flip the comp, but again, 4v5 can't really do much about it when you're missing one of your DPSs.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, in that last fight, it was looking pretty good for Poseidon, but Phantom Wind, they just had the ultimates. They had the Dragon Blade, was able to trade out the support line. But we'll see if Poseidon wants to stick more to that Doomfist. It seemed at the end they were finding more of their niche, I guess, running the Echo Sojourn. They were able to find a lot of picks, but obviously it went down to a 1v1, and the Doomfist just didn't have enough health to keep going on in the fight. But, I mean, we'll see what their map choice is. I mean, it's going to be tough. It looks like we are going to be going into King's Row, though. So
yeah,
I feel like this favors that Diva rush, but maybe Poseidon, maybe they have a Zarya comp that they've had in the works, or maybe they have some kind of other brawl comp that they feel is going to match up very well into the Diva. I mean, who knows? We really don't know what we're going to see. But I actually kind of do like King's Row a little bit, just because there are some pretty good high grounds, and it's going to be tough for Phantom Wind to really contest them all the time, especially on this first point defense. Poseidon can play some pretty solid high grounds at first point and second point, and really even third point. I mean, really all the points have good high ground. So if you want to run something that you want to hold an off angle, like maybe you want to try out Ashe, which I think is going to be a little tough, or you want to try out your Sojourn, I mean, I feel like you have the ability to do that on this map, but obviously this is such a rush favored map. It does kind of favor that Diva, Moira, Lucio, but see what Poseidon has in store for us.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting too, because Poseidon, they did say that one of their favorite comps is that Junker Queen sort of brawl heavy style. And with King's Row, like you said, there is that high ground, their high ground sort of advantage for both these teams. It is a fairly linear map at points, especially during point 2. Yes, you get those sort of very strong high grounds with those long angles, but again, it's just when you see King's Row, you think Rhine, and I think that's sort of maybe Poseidon's thought process here, like, hey, King's Row, we think Rhine, maybe we can run some brawl here. But again, if Phantom Wind's playing that Diva, just playing that sort of comp where you can't really go on a single person, because next thing you know, they're gone and 50 meters away, like, you can't really just single one target out. Whereas if you are playing the brawl, like, hey, we can poke somebody down and just immediately all 5 of us go on that one person instead.
Yeah, we just have to see what Poseidon's going to roll out on before we can really say, like, oh, they're going to try and opt for this style more. But obviously Phantom Wind, they're going to be going for that Diva. It's very high tempo. I mean, it's probably one of the highest tempo brawls you can really play, just because you obviously don't have a shield. You only have defense matrix, so you're forced to play fast, and you're forced to play to just burst down a target. And I mean, Phantom Wind's doing that. They're doing very good at getting those picks. So, I mean, interesting to see what we're going to see here. Obviously, we can kind of see they're going to be running the Diva. They're probably going to be running the Tracer on the Genji. And yeah, so Poseidon, they're going to run the Mei Sojourn with their Ramatra. So they're going to try and take a brawl fight of their own, but you know, I can't help but think that Phantom Wind is just going to play first again. we'll see what Poseidon tries to do. If they can get their Soch set up on a good off angle or get some big walls, this could be a favorable matchup for them. But you just have to make sure your backline does not die instantly, right?
Yeah, and especially too, like you were saying, yes, Poseidon's they're trying to run this Mei Ramattra brawl. They can't really wall off anybody. As soon as you wall somebody off, Zibdo can just climb over the wall. America has recall. Davion has the boosters. Serenity has a ghost, and Anali just has the wall climb. So you can't really go anything like that. Whereas Poseidon, you have 3 players right there that could just be immediately dove on for Phantom Win. So it's going to be difficult for them here. As we see them try to take advantage, go around Statue, just trying to scout them out and just trying to poke and prod and see where they're going to try to end up going.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try and take the hat. I do like the Cassidy swap, able to have a little bit more contested the DPS and be able to take some range, but it looks like Phantom Wind, they're actually playing very far back and they want the fight taking onto them.
Yeah, fight being taken onto them. They jump over the high ground, trying to flip the map here, but they found their target. They're going after it. That's Foxer. Lamp does come out for the side of Murph, but the back does come out. America is able to find Murph, so that's the main support's down. But that's also your tank down for the side of Phantom Wind. Blue the color finds Zibdo, so that's 2 down, and you are up 1 if you're Poseidon. Just trying to poke and prod and be able to find it down, but Mei does end up falling. The Moira is still alive on the point, is just sort of backing off. And again, this is the one good thing about that dive comp, but Foxer finally is able to find 2, and that's the first tick going to Poseidon.
Yeah, we're gonna see Phantom Wind swap over the Mantra. It's just interesting to see Phantom Wind. They just backed off. They gave up so much space, and I can kind of see the vision. They were trying to force their Mantra to overextend just so they can dive the backline. It just didn't really work out. They did get the pick, but they took so much damage during that time, and they gave up so much space. It just became easy for Poseidon to flip the map and take the point. And I mean, we're seeing an interesting style clash here. Obviously, we're going to see Phantom Wind actually going to swap to the BAP, never mind. But the Soch Genji versus the Mei Cassidy. Interesting to see how they play this. The Soch Genji is going to be able to take some good angles. Poseidon's going to try and play off these walls, though.
Yeah, and exactly, too. We're seeing a sort of pseudo-mirror, especially from the tank side. As soon as you see one, we're seeing the other. But again, it's just poking and prodding, seeing who's going to make that first move. Melk does have that wall up, so they could try to find something with that, but that's the go button right there. A Nemesis form comes on out for the side of Blue the color, and is trying to find one. Lamp comes out for the side of Phantom Wind, but isn't able to keep up Davion. Trying to just stay alive and everything like that, but I think that's the S key for Phantom Wind is they're all just backing out of there completely, trying to make sure they don't die and wait for the tank Davion before they can take another pick in the second point.
Yeah, it's just... The thing is, in these like 5v5 clashes, the Poseidon comp is going to do much better in these neutral fights where you don't have these ults because you have Mei Cassidy. You can get a wall, you can get just the Cassidy, frontline poke. But with these ults, it's going to be a little bit different. We'll see how they try and play this.
Yeah, as the window comes out for the side of Murphs, trying to keep everybody alive as well. There's no ultimates, but now the window does get popped for the side of Phantom Wind. Try to stay alive. Zibdo does find Murphs. That's Murph dead first again. Beat comes up because of the blade, trying to keep everybody alive, and that might just be Poseidon trying to press the S key a little bit much because of that. Because just trying to stay alive. Cal falls, Melk falls, Blue the color does find one, Foxer does find another one, so this could be turning on the side of Poseidon. Trying to stay alive, but that isn't happening for Blue the color, and finally, Phantom Wind is able to stop the momentum of Poseidon.
Yeah, very scrappy fight. A lot of, a few ults committed from both of these teams, but I mean, I guess Phantom Wind, they were just able to find the picks. They got the Mei split off at one point after the Blizzard, and were able to find those picks, throughout the fight. Now they're going to be going in with a lot of ults from on the side of both of these teams. We'll see how these Ramattra ults come into play. I do think the beat is going to at least nullify the Ramattra ult from the side of Poseidon, but we'll see what Phantom Wind does because there is no beat to match that Sojo.
Yeah, you took it right out of my mouth. And Nolly with the beat, looking to probably pop it early. Overclock does come out for the side of America. Noon does fall, but does find America. Lamp as well comes out for the side of Murph, trying to keep the rest of their team alive. And here comes the Nemesis form for the side of Davion, just trying to find some picks. There comes the beat. Davion does find one. Rampage does come out as well for both these sides, trying to poke and prod and find everybody else. The Mechanic Cast does find one. Davion finds one, but ends up falling to Malcolm themselves. And Blue the Clone trying to find some more picks, trying to keep everybody else alive and trying to keep this fight going forward, is able to find Serenity and just trying to stay alive themselves, just making sure, hey, this Reaper is going to be a lot of damage. It does end up punching him to death, and that is Poseidon probably catching point 2.
Yeah, another very scrappy fight. This time goes on the side of Poseidon. Obviously, we're going to see the Genji touch. Not really going to mean all that much. We're going to see Phantom Wind. They're going to swap over to the Ashe. Interesting pick. I do like it on this point just because of how good this high ground is on this last point. But we'll see if Foxstar is able to really contest that. Obviously, they're going to be able to get that middle high ground right there. See if they're going to be able to kind of zone out this Ashe. But other than that, we don't really have many ults coming up. I mean, Poseidon's going to have the Blizzard. That's kind of the main ult we're going to be looking at. If they can isolate this Ramattra here, this could be a very good fight win for them.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. Zipdol does find blue, so that's the S key going in for the side of Poseidon, trying to make sure everybody can try to stay alive. Melk does have the Ice Block Force, and they do end up falling. But again, this is, like you said, this is a style of two different styles of comps. Phantom Wind having that Ashe Reaper style, just trying to go in and go fully aggressive. Poseidon having that wall and trying to make sure they can try to poke and prod and try to wall somebody off from the side of Phantom.
Yeah, I mean, Blue just got picked off before the Blizzard could really come out, but now both DPS ults are going to be coming off from the side of Poseidon. We're going to see the window coming in too, but window from Phantom Wind's going to start off the fight if Poseidon's just need a kite.
Yeah, Poseidon with the ramp with the Blizzard as well, trying to make sure they can find anybody. Davion does end up getting frozen, but doesn't end up falling. America does find blue, but gets fallen in the cell. Foxer with the overclock does find one, trying to find another one. The Reaper Fade does come out, but isn't able to find anything else. And Foxer is just in the middle of the spawn, just trying to find anything else. They're not really able to do much. Davion is able to find Foxer, just trying to stay alive as well. Very, very low HP. And again, this is Poseidon. They try to go a little bit aggressive. They do use two of their ultimates, but aren't able to clean up the fight at all.
Yeah, I mean, really, the Blizzard was able to get the Ramattra, but because of the window was up on the side of Phantom Wind, they just couldn't. The side of Poseidon couldn't walk, or else they were just going to get headshot or something. But the window's going to come on the side of Poseidon. That should open up the fight.
Yeah, Murph does pop the window, but immediately gets popped by America with the Bob, trying to make sure they can stay alive and contest the point as well. Both teams are fairly close to beat, so I won't be surprised if we do see that double pop as well. But Serenity does fall for the side of Phantom Wind. That's tough if you're difficult for that, and so does a Lolly before the beat gets popped. So this could be Poseidon finally taking advantage of some miscues. Foxer is able to find America, and now it's just Zipdol alive, just staying hiding, waiting for the perfect time to use the Death Blossom. The Rampage does come out. Beat does come out as well for both sides, trying to make sure everybody can stay alive. Death Blossom does end up coming out. Make sure they can do it, but Foxer in the pit. Murph does find one, and Ollie does find blue, so that's their tank gone. So that could be the savior for Phantom Wind. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like it. As America does find Milk, still trying to stay alive, but does end up falling. And again, this is just a contest fight for the side of Phantom Wind.
They do get a couple of players coming back in. They have the support line. They have the Sombra, though. This could work out in the end.
Yeah, it really can. Calf does end up falling. Overclock does come out for the side of Foxer. Does find Serenity. Isn't able to find anything else. And again, Phantom Wind, like I said, like you said, it is a turning point here. America finds two. Was a little bit too over aggressive. Blue jumps off the edge. Apparently, I thought he got booped, but again, that's a great turning point for Phantom Wind, just sort of immediately going to that Diva Tracer, just being like, hey, guess what? We're just going to go as fast as we can and touch the point.
Yeah, I mean, Foxer does get a little bit aggressive with the overclock and, kind of going in. If they would have just stood on that high ground, they probably could have gotten a little bit more value, probably could have been able to clean up that, but we're only going to see the windows coming off from both these sides. Both these teams have also gone to more of their comfort styles rather than just going into the recontest characters now.
Yeah, both these, like you said, both these guys have. Window comes out first for the side of Phantom Wind, trying to make sure they can try to find something at all. Lamp does come out for the side of Murph, just trying to keep everybody alive and up. Pulse Bomb close for the side of Miracle. We've seen them work miracles before, so they toss it in. Isn't able to stick anybody. Isn't able to get a kick. The window comes out for the side of Murph. Blue is able to find Zipdol, and that's the first domino falling for the side of Poseidon, making sure they can try to keep everybody alive. Foxer does find Miracle, so that's both their DPS gone for the side of Phantom Wind, trying to keep everybody alive. Bomb does come out, making sure they can try to find something, but isn't able to find anything. Foxer finds Serenity, and again, looks like this could go Poseidon's way. Blizzard comes out as well as the beat for the side of Anali, just trying to make sure they can clean everything alive. Poops away, and guess what? Oh, 0.8. Never mind. This is close, but again, it looks like it's going to be another stall fight for the side of Phantom Wind, and they all end up falling. Finally, Poseidon finish it in overtime.
Yeah, finally able to clean it up, and really that last one comes down to they just didn't get picked off while they were trying to chase these kills. They were able to kind of play a little bit slower after they got one, played a little bit slower, got healed up, and then continued to push, and that really helped them out a lot. Obviously, getting the ults towards the end was very important. I do want to bring up the May on the side of Poseidon was building these Blizzards very fast. They had at least 3 on this third point here, and actually I do think they had them in back-to-back fights, which was really impressive. But I mean, honestly, that looked pretty good on the side of Poseidon. I really think that comp they're starting to, favor now is doing a lot better than they were doing before, and maybe they like this from Matramir. I'm interested to see if Phantom Wind is going to keep playing this D.Va. I really think they should try it. I feel like it can work if they continue playing fast like they were initially. I do think they swapped off of it a little too soon, although maybe they've played it in scrims, maybe they don't like taking this matchup. I think it could work. I think if you keep playing fast, then it can work if you can get on the Baptiste on the side of Poseidon, but we'll see if they want to do it on the attack. Obviously, they swapped, very early on their defense. Maybe it's just not a defensive-sided comp, which makes sense to me. But I mean, that could also be it. But we'll see if, maybe we'll see if this Widow can get a pick too. I do think they're just going to swap to the Tracer though.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we do see America just trying to go for this early pick, just again switching right away. But like you said, it could be just a style of being like, hey, maybe we don't like this comp on defense, we like it more on attack. And actually, America sticking on the Widow for at least a little bit, is able to get an opening shot onto a headshot, but isn't able to find any kills. Shot onto Milk, keeping them falling low. But again, I think you're looking for America to try to find a pick, maybe try to get a headshot on somebody and try to bring them down low, and the rest of Phantom Wind can go in on them.
Yeah, we'll see if they are able to get the pick. I mean, they've hit a couple of headshots, but it's been mostly on their Amatra. Now Phantom Wind's going to be able to contest the point, and we'll see if Poseidon's actually going to roll out, but they're all getting very low.
Yeah, Milk forced to use the ice block, just trying to stay alive. And again, all of Poseidon is stuck in this little room, just trying to poke and prod and try to fight their way out. Davion is falling pretty low. Is able to stay alive though. America just getting poked out, almost at like 5 HP, I would have to assume. But again, when you're doing this, you have to try to make sure you're on the point. Pick comes out for the side of Phantom Wind, and if you're Poseidon, you're able to have that. But Blue ends up falling. Finally, the Nemesis form runs out. Ice block is off of the point, so that's the W key for the side of Phantom Wind, just going to go in. American finally finds another pick, and again, as soon as they're able to get that first pick, Phantom Wind just goes all in and is able to cap first point.
Yeah, very smart by them. They were able to take that high ground and just able to completely surround Poseidon. Poseidon had to play in that small room and then allowed the Widow just kind of reign supreme. Oh, Big Bomb's able to get their Ramatra very low. They should be able to get these picks. It seems like this is just a stagger fight, so
yeah,
they'll be able to chase down these kills. Obviously, America's sticking on the Widow, so I don't know where they are. Nobody's on cart right now, but oh man, they're chasing very far. Anyway,
they are chasing pretty far, but again, if you're not on the point, it's not going to be moving. So you got to be on the point if you want to, go this far, I think.
Yeah, now they're going to keep Merrick on it, but they have the sites, so they are going to be able to get this early scout going for them. A little early though, just because Poseidon, they just got out of spawn, so I mean it's going to hold them back for a little bit. Phantom Wind still has the Coalescence. They're going to have the Blade too, but Poseidon has 2 very big ults of their own. 3 coming up just because they're going to have the beat too. So see how they want to play with this Blizzard. I mean, they've been getting some pretty solid Blizzards here and there, but it should be pretty big here.
Yeah, Window comes up for the side of Murph, just trying to take that advantage. Wall comes out, isn't able to really find anybody, and again, Phantom Wind is just like as soon as they see that Window come out, it's basically not usable at all for the side of Poseidon. And as soon as it falls, that's the go button. Coalescence come out, so does Blade. Is trying to find one, finally finds Foxer, but the beat comes out for the side of Calf. But Milk does end up falling as well through the Coalescence. Freeze does come out as well, but again, that's Poseidon Phantom Wind, staying alive and just keep on going through those ultimates.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it is going to be hard to get a Blizzard. We'll see if they want to stay on the man. It's just very hard to isolate somebody, as we were kind of talking a lot before, because everybody on the side of Phantom Wind can really get out of it other than the Widowmaker, but the Widowmaker is going to be playing so far away, it's not really going to matter all that much. Looks like they're set up on the high ground. Poseidon is going up with the Overclock. That should be the big goal in this fight.
Yeah, it really should be. About 4% Murph that does use the lamp. Foxer is able to find Serenity, so that's their main healing down for the side of Phantom Wind. They do have the beat, so it'll be interesting to see if they do it, but as soon as Milk finds America, they're just like, hey, we're getting the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, and one thing that we're seeing basically in all of these fights is that Poseidon's really relying on Milk to get that pick onto the Widowmaker, and now Phantom Wind, they're going to swap to the Sojourn. Definitely a little bit tougher to attack on the Widowmaker, especially when you don't have that initial space. So the Sojourn should be a lot better. We'll see what this beat comes into play because, Foxer gets picked off really early. That's the Overclock completely gone.
Yeah, like you said, Overclock completely gone. Blue does have the Rampage. Don't be surprised if we do see it come out. The May is completely just blocked out. Rampage does come out. Beat comes out as well for the side of Inali. Just trying to keep the rest of their team alive and just trying to find some extra picks. But again, that's the rest of the team coming back from spawn, just trying to stay alive. Zipto is able to find the lamp, so that's the entire team free. The bomb comes out for the side of Davion, isn't able to find anything, but does get that little bit of space. Still trying to stay alive. America does find Calf, so that's your first pick open, but Rampage, Overclock does come out for the side of Foxer, trying to find anything, but it's just getting eaten up by Davion. Davion isn't able to find, America is able to find Foxer, and again, this is just the entirety of Phantom Wind just playing to their strength. Davion is able to find Murph, and it's just a cleanup fight here, especially with the Coalescence.
Yeah, and Ollie wasn't really able to find everybody with the beat initially, but it was just enough to keep the team in the fight, able to keep the Diva up specifically, allowed them to stay in that fight and play for the rest of their team. Obviously, they were able to get the Coalescence at the end. Now, we'll see what Poseidon does. They're going to have that Blizzard and the window again, but what are you going to be able to hit with the Blizzard? I mean, now you have the Sojourn at least if you can catch them after their slide, but you have to watch the Diva, you have to watch, you know, amp speed. There's a lot that can go wrong here with the Blizzard. See if the window's going to be able to force some of that out a little bit early, though, and maybe they can take a brawl fight.
Yeah, window does come out for the side of Murph, but again, as soon as the window comes out, that's the S key from Phantom Wind, just hiding behind some walls, making sure they can just hide and take almost no damage from it. And then again, America, they do have the overclock here, so they could go a little bit aggressive. As soon as that go button is stated, that's the Blizzard coming out, and it looks like they're just backing off as well, forcing Poseidon to use 2 of their ultimates. Davion does go a little bit aggressive, but I think they're willing to take that, just baiting out those 2 ultimates, and they still have over 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a pretty good Blizzard, though, because you were able to split up Phantom Wind. That's kind of the best case scenario with Blizzard, because you're not going to really be able to freeze anybody. You just have to hope that you split them up enough that you're able to get picks off of that. They were able to get the Diva, and they were just able to win the fight after that. Poseidon still has a couple of ults coming up. The Ramattra ult's going to be the key play here, but Poseidon just able to own this high ground. It's going to be very tough for them.
Yeah, like you said, Phantom Wind still going aggressive. Blade comes out. Rampage does come out as well. Beat as well for the side of Poseidon, trying to make sure they can all stay alive. Zipto does end up falling super early. That could, again, just be an S-key, but it looks like this Phantom Wind is actually going to go in. Overclock and Coalescence trying to stay alive, trying to find blue. Bomb as well coming in, just chucking it in, trying to find one. Isn't able to find anything as well. Davion trying to get remech, but does end up falling to the side of Melk, and that could spell dangerous for the side of Phantom Wind. Serenity does find Merc, so again, that's your main healing down, but again, Phantom Wind just pressing that S key and getting the hell out of dodge.
Yeah, I mean, Phantom Wind, they commit so many ults there, not really able to find any of the picks that they needed, and that really spells their doom. They still have the beat to counter the Soj ult, though. Maybe they can play fast with the beat. Maybe you'll be able to get some picks with it if you play aggressive, and that it looks like exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, beat comes out for the side of Calf. So does the window for the side of Murph. So does the Blizzard. Trying to find some people. That's a lot frozen. America is able to find Melk, so that's your first pick for the side of Phantom Wind. Foxer is trying to go in the back line, but just gets melted immediately by Davion. And again, this could be Poseidon just falling a little bit too aggressive. Davion is able to find Murph and is just trying to find those extra kills. Still moving the point, just over 30 seconds left. Still have to try to find something that can do it. Calf does end up falling, making sure you can do it. Melk finds an Ollie, so that's both Lucio's gone. Blue falls, Zibdol finds Melk, and it's just a stall fight for the side of Poseidon, and everybody ends up falling, and now we're going to overtime.
Yeah, they just get picked off over time. They're forced to take that kind of stall fight right there. Really good moves by the side of Phantom Wind. They played fast with the beat, and they were kind of able to negate the window on the side of Poseidon because you had the beat, you had the extra HP, you were able to send people past the window and kind of negate that value. Now, we did see both of these teams swap a little bit. Phantom Wind obviously on their attack, they wanted to stay on that Diva comp, and it looked very, very good for them. If they can keep playing fast, I think they're going to win a lot of these fights. I feel like a lot of the fights they're losing is when they're taking a lot of slower fights, and it's usually when they don't have ults too, or maybe they overcommit on some of their ults, and Poseidon's just able to kite very well. That's one thing Poseidon's been doing very well, is they've been able to kite, and that's very impressive on the side of them. And we are going to see Phantom Win. They're going to go to the Orisa, so definitely don't like running the Diva on defense, I'm guessing is what it is. I do like Orisa under the Ramattra, though, because really Ramattra, I mean, I feel like just kind of gets soft countered by the Orisa, because when you go into your Nemesis form, you're just going to get speared back, you're going to get Javelin spinned away. There's not a lot you can do against the Orisa, so this is a pretty good matchup. But obviously Poseidon, if they're going to start off with this Widow and Phantom Wind doesn't really have anything to contest it, then it might get a little dangerous for them. But we'll have to see on the side of if Zibble can hit those headshots onto the Widow, then you don't even have to worry about it. We'll see what Poseidon wants to roll out on, though.
Yeah, Poseidon looking like they're sticking with the same comp. And like you said, as soon as that Nemesis form gets popped, look at Davion to try to be able to try to just throw that javelin spin, slash that spear just right into their face. And again, Poseidon going for the same rotation, trying to take this high ground and just sort of poke and prod and try to deal some damage. Blue almost is about half HP already, almost falls. So does Foxer. But again, if you're just poking and prodding, as long as you stay up and you're building those supports, Milk almost falls. But again, already a lot of supports coming in. Serenity having about 50% to their application matrix, just trying to find an opening pick, and neither of these teams can really do so.
Yeah, a lot of times going off the clock right now. I mean, we're only going to see one fight here. Obviously, 1 minute's not a lot of time anyway, but I mean, the risk is going to get split here and forces the Fortify.
Yeah, Fortify comes out, so does the Javelin Spin, trying to find something. Isn't able to find anything. Lamp is the first one to go for the side of Serenity, so that's the wall. That's the lamp down as well as the wall coming out. Davion trying to go in, trying to stay alive, but isn't able to for the side for Murph. Murph does end up is able to find and Poseidon is able to find more, and that's the turning point for it. As soon as that first domino falls for Phantom Wind and it's your tank, you can't really go in anymore. You just all end up crumbling.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we've seen both these teams on the defense is they're so quick to give up that high ground, and it's hurting them every single time. I feel like every first point has been lost on the first attack. So, I mean, you have to be willing to contest that high ground. We're going to see Davion swap back to the D.Va, definitely the comfort pick. They have the window for this fight, so they're not going to be swapping to the Moira. See what this window does, though. I think you had the chance to blow up their Ramatra, and that's kind of what you have to look for here. Poseidon's going to have their Blizzard. They're going to have their window coming up. They're going to have a lot of ults, and Phantom Wind does not really have anything to match, so you have to try. Maybe you get just a really good pick early, or you can take a dry fight and hope you can win the next one.
Yeah, the one thing though as well is America is fairly close to that overclock, about 75%. So if you're able to build that up fast, but the Blizzard comes out for a Milk, and that could be a fight win immediately. Davion does go aggressive and does end up falling. Still just trying to go in, but Phantom Wind immediately pressing that S key and just running away from Poseidon.
Yeah, I mean, they're able to get the pick, but I mean, it just comes down to Phantom Wind. They just played it so slow, and they took a lot of time. If they would have, I do think you have a better chance if you just try and play fast with the window and you try and get value that way just by having the element of surprise, going in and hoping that you can get a pick early and forcing Poseidon to either panic ult or not ult at all. But they do have the window here, and they're willing to use it early.
Yeah, window comes out, Rampage comes out, another window comes out for the side of Murph. Still trying to find anything. America pops the overclock. It's just an ult fiesta here. Foxer is able to, Milk is able to find one. Foxer is able to find another one. Lubricate with Cass is able to find Davion. And it's all ready to kill feed for the side of Poseidon, trying to stay alive. Calf finds another one, their counterpart of Anali. And again, it's Poseidon. As soon as they get that momentum going, they're tough to stop.
Yeah, and I mean, Phantom Wind did have a better chance in that fight. They did take a little bit of tempo, but Poseidon just had 5 ults to stack into that fight. Now Phantom Wind is going to be doing a little bit better. They're going to have more ults. I mean, they're going to have an ult advantage. They're going to have an ult. So they have the beat. They're going to have the D.Va bomb coming up and the blade. So this should look better for them. If they, honestly, they can play fast with this beat here. Maybe you can just hard dive on the Baptiste and get value like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to try to do. Beat comes out. Davion is sort of low. Still has the bomb now, so looking to pop that out immediately. Bomb gets popped, trying to find something, trying to find some space. Isn't able to find anything at all, and all he does find Milk, so that's the blade coming out as well. Zipto finally is able to get something going, and that's as far as Poseidon is able to go. It's going to be a tough one for Phantom Wind.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very tough, very, very tough attack, but we did see we're doing pretty good on the attack, so they have a good chance here, especially if they play first. And this is kind of the thing I'm talking about. If they can play first, they're going to be able to win these fights. Obviously, in that last fight, they had a huge ult advantage. They had the beat, they had the D.Va bomb, they basically built the blade during that fight. But when they're taking tempo like that, they're more likely to win these fights, even if they don't have the ults. If you can go in, you can get a pick early before they can pop their ult, or like you can win the fight like that, or you're going to force out a lot of these ults when they don't need to, and then Phantom Wind can just have a better ult economy for the rest of the map. But on this first point, they looked very good on their attack. They were able to take the high ground, force Poseidon down, and just able to find a pick and go in off of that. I do think they're set up pretty good for their attack, although, yeah, it's 1 minute. They played very good on their attack the first time. They're able to run the D.Va. They're able to go into this more comfortable comp for them. And again, if you play first, you're going to beat what Poseidon has. Poseidon is really relying on getting those main walls, really relying on that sojourn value later on in the fights, and especially that Baptiste, right? The one thing that's really important about the support matchup right here is that Moira, she's going to run out of healing at some point. If you sit there and you take poke, she's going to run out of healing. Baptiste is able to reload over and over and over again, and really the only thing you have to worry about is the immortality.
And Poseidon trying to be a little bit cheeky, hiding in statue, but isn't able to really find any value. Just sort of gave their cards away a little bit too early because of Blue sort of poking right there. But again, as soon as you get this high ground, it's sort of difficult to be able to try to pop down and stop, especially when you're stuck in this little room. America on the prowl, trying to find the backline, does get booped, so isn't able to get that one clip onto Murph, but still just trying to find something. Blue is able to find Serenity, Milk is able to find Zibdol, so that's Poseidon already finding two before the finding one themselves. And again, this is just a straight S key immediately. Davion is getting sort of staggered. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose Milk here and they end up due. So again, that's a big stall for them. They do end up falling right away, so that is good. You're not really stalling them out, but again, it's less than 30 seconds left on the clock.
The good thing about that is that they do have the ability to take another fight. They're on a very fast comp. They have the Tracer to touch, but don't really know what happened there. It looks like they just got picked off as they were dropping off the high ground. They didn't really all commit on the one target, and that really hurt them, I guess. But I mean, they have the high ground right now. They're taking a lot of space, and could be looking better for them.
Yeah, Melk is able to find America. America looking for this pulse bomb. Davion out of mech again already. Just still is having difficulty staying alive, especially on this point. Foxer is able to find Davion, so that's your tank gone, and Ollie gone as well. Lamp comes out, is able to find anything. Blizzard for the side of Melk, and Poseidon takes map 2 more than likely. I don't want to say until anything happens, but America does find 2. Could be the turning point here. I may have spoken too soon, but never mind. Maybe. Ball comes in. Looks like it's just gonna be a stagger fight here for Phantom Wind trying to stay alive. Just sort of trickling in non-stop.
Yeah, it looks like that's the final pick. Oh, actually, no. Here's the Genji. The Genji's gonna get picked off right here. Maybe you have the Moira touch, but no, the wall comes out and that completely stops that. Very good map on the side of Poseidon. I think the one big difference maker here was Milk on the Mei. They were getting a lot of value and they were doing just a lot of poke. They were able to build their Blizzard basically like every other fight at least, and although they weren't getting as much value from it every fight, I mean, there was times you were able to get a good split and you were just able to find picks like that, but they were just getting a lot of value. They were getting a lot of picks, they were getting a lot of people low, and especially when we saw that Phantom Wind rolling out on the Widowmaker, we saw that there was Milk getting those headshots, forcing the Widowmaker out of position and allowing Poseidon to actually take a fight. That, you know, that last defense there that they had, it looked very good on the side of Phantom Wind on paper because we saw how fast they were able to take it the first time, but Poseidon did really good. They were able to survive kind of that initial hit, and maybe that's on Phantom Wind, that maybe they weren't all committed on the one target, or maybe it was just a really good play on the side of Poseidon. I don't necessarily know. Either way, looked very good for Poseidon. We will see though what Phantom Wind is going to do on our next map choice, which I do believe is Flashpoint. I'm correct. Yep. I think it's Flashpoint.
It is Flashpoint. So
yeah. Either one I think works well for that Moira Lucio style. Whatever tank you want to play. If you want to run that Diva, you probably get away with it again. Playing fast is going to be the key again.
Yep.
I mean, Servas is a little bit tougher, in my opinion, to run like the Baptiste and the Nea, just because there's a lot of the points are kind of harder to get good walls off. But
yeah,
I mean, either way, you were having trouble with the walls, right? So you were really getting a lot of your value just from Milk getting good poke, hitting the headshots with the icicles, and just doing very well in the longer fights.
And I believe this is Phantom Wind's pick, but before we do that, before we go anything like that, we are going to take a quick break. So we'll be back in a few seconds. We'll let the teams mull it over. We'll mull it over ourselves. Try to figure out what we can right after this. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Week 12 Discord Tier Phantom Win Poseidon 1-1. I'm here with Tall. Very good maps so far. Both these teams have sort of shown their strengths. Poseidon a lot more better with the Brawl, Phantom Win with the Dive. What have you seen from the last two maps we saw in King's Row that has sort of been like, hey, I like these two teams so far?
Yeah, I mean, we saw two different styles of Brawl really clash. Poseidon was able to run that Mei, Sojourn, Bap, Lucio to a very high level, and Phantom Win had that Diva, Moira, Lucio, Genji, Tracer, that more fast-paced, really get in your face and can build those ults in the mid-fights. But I do think Servasa kind of plays well for both of those. Obviously, Brawl is just very good on Servasa. Anything with Lucio is just going to be played on Servasa, or either of the flashpoints, because you want to have that speed. Phantom Wind's comp probably works a little bit better on that end, where you have a lot of speed. You have the Genji, you have the Tracer, the Diva, Moira, Lucio, and Poseidon's a little bit slower and a little bit tougher places to look for walls if you want to go with that Mei. But I do think it could still work, because they weren't. I mean, the reason they were winning was not because of the wall value. It was because Milk was able to get a lot of value just off of the icicles with the Mei, and they were able to play a lot of the slower fights, and they were able to kite out very well. And that, I do think that can still work on Servasa. We will see if that is what they want to roll out on, but based on those best two maps, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and this is loser's pick as well. So it's Phantom wins the map pick, and if I think if it was Poseidon, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see New Junk City just because of how enclosed it is and how those Maywalls can really affect it. But again, with Saravasa, you do have those opportunities, especially with like Temple and Ruins, just the sort of smaller choke points. But with Phantom Wind playing that more dive and more aggressive style, I'm sort of glad we're going to Saravasa, the prettier of the two maps, I think a lot of people say. And I think a lot of people like Saravasa a lot more. We do have a sub coming in as well. So OP Freeze coming in for Zibdol. So maybe a bit of a comp change. Zibdol was playing that Genji style, a lot of Genji. I don't think they really chose anything other than Genji. So maybe they're just Genji main. But I mean, what could you see them coming out with, especially sticking with that sort of diva style, but making the comp switch?
Well, if the plan is to change off of that Genji, then maybe this is you're bringing in your Sojourn player, and you want to play Sojourn, you want to get more value that way, and have something to contest Foxert a lot of the time, especially when Foxert's going to be able to get some of these strong off angles. If you engage before you can clear out that off angle, then at least you have a Sojourn of your own to try and match that. I mean, maybe that's what this comes down to. I do think if the Genji, the way you play around the Genji, it's very heavily a play style thing. So I mean, we'll see if they're going to change a lot of that part of that play style, because obviously if you have the Soldier, you're going to be playing a little bit slower. You have to play off the railguns a little bit more. But I mean, who knows? Maybe this is just they're going to go to Junker Queen instead of the Diva. That's definitely a play. I think it does work very well into the Baptiste if you're able to play fast. But again, it comes down to playing fast, which the problem we were seeing a little bit when they were running the Divas is that they weren't really doing that. Maybe it's a little bit easier for them to do that on the Junker Queen. Looks like they're just going to be staying with the Genji. That's fine. Maybe we'll see them change a little bit later.
Yeah.
Because the Junker Queen gives you a little bit more versatility where you can run like Soj Kiriko, or you can run Soj Moira. You can do a little bit more other than with the Diva. You kind of stuck with just, we got to play fast. We got to play fast. We got to play fast. Junker Queen, you can do a little bit more nuance, I guess. But Poseidon's going to stick on that comp that worked so well for them, going with that Mei, Soldier, and Bap Lucio. We'll see how they take this first fight. I mean, it's going to be tough to get a wall here, but again, on the Junker Queen should be easier.
Yeah, and especially too, like you said, they do have that shout, so it's everybody going in rather than just the Diva. But again, poking and prodding, Poseidon do have this early wall coming in for the side of Poseidon, is able to find one. OP Freeze is trying to stay alive, about half HP. Point does get unlocked for Market. Poseidon are looking to try to fully cap it. OP Freeze does end up falling for Foxer. So again, that's Poseidon getting that first pick and trying to press the W key. Eternity does find Foxer. That's her main sort of source of damage gone. Blue the Color does find Xavion. So again, this is Poseidon win falling and trying to just press the S key and get the hell out of there.
So now Poseidon's getting a lot of value from the walls, and that's kind of the one thing where you swap off to the, okay, now they're going to the Orisa, so it's going to be a little bit less value from the walls. They're also going to go to the May Cassidy, so maybe that's kind of what you're doing to bring in OP Freeze, and that's, you're getting that versatility to swap over to the May. Now they're going to go Bap Lucio, so they're going to go to a harder brawl. Now, I do think I recall this working for them on first map. I very vaguely recall that.
It didn't? I don't remember. For the Orisa, I think it worked a bit on first map. King's Row it didn't, but again, I have short-term memory loss, so I can't remember anything. Smile. But no, wall comes out for the side of Phantom Wind, trying to find somebody, isn't able to find anything at all. Foxer just trying to get run down. Lucio does get speared for the side of Calf. America does end up falling to the side of Blue, but again, that's the one thing that sucks. As soon as you go in, you got a Ramatra in your backline, cleaning everything up. And again, Poseidon is able to clean everybody up and get Market on Saravasa.
Yeah, and they didn't even have to commit any ults. I mean, they just got the beat, but I mean, it looked very good on the side of Poseidon. Really only had to take, I think that was like 2 fights right there, because Phantom Wind obviously they basically changed up their entire team comp. That took them a little bit of time, but I mean, a lot of that comes down to Phantom Wind. When they were going in for the engage, the Ramatra was able to split them up and was able to find a lot of value. I think they got 2 picks. Now they have a bunch of ults. This is looking very good for the side of Poseidon. If they can control their ult economy, they can very easily get this point and maybe get a steamroll onto that next one.
Yeah, especially like you said, it almost all 5 ults coming out for the side of Poseidon. Blizzard comes on in for the side of Milk, just trying to find something and trying to stay alive. Blue this almost falls and and Phantom Wind isn't able to get the kill, just trying to poke and prod, keep everybody alive and make sure they can do it. Freeze does have the Blizzard themselves. Murph does pop the window for both sides, trying to make sure everybody stays alive, but again, now it's all Blue in the kill feed. Phantom Wind is finally turning this, finally gaining some momentum after Poseidon gets about 20% onto Ruins.
Yeah, very good on the side of Phantom Wind. They were able to play slow. They were able to just build up their ults. I mean, that was a huge window. Was able to absolutely negate the window on the side of Poseidon, as well as the Blizzard on the side from OP Freeze. Able to get a lot of value. And now we're going to be going into a fight where Phantom Wind has an ultimate advantage. We were just talking about Poseidon had 5 ults, and Phantom Wind had none. Now Phantom Wind has an ultimate advantage. So if they can keep managing this, I mean, this is looking very good. High Noon comes out early. See what they can get off of this.
Yeah, try to wall them up and try to find something. Isn't able to find anything. So a little bit of a zoning ult does get them over 50%, so that could be good. Wall comes out, divides Davion from the rest of their team, trying to back up and trying to stay alive. Spin comes in, trying to just sort of push out Blue. Beat comes out, so does the Nemesis Storm, and finds Serenity. Trying to stay alive is everybody on the side of Poseidon, trying to just press in. OP Freeze and Davion do find 2 of their own. Milk does find Davion themselves. So it's even on both sides. And Phantom Wind still has control at this point, still trying to make sure they can get about 90% now, still poking and prodding, trying to stay everything out. Foxer does find an Ollie, Milk does find America, so now it's turning. OP Freeze is able to find Calf, so, but again, it's just you alive. Blizzard comes out, trying to make something happen, trying to make something else, and they do end up finding Foxer. Foxer ends up falling, and again, are they able to touch? Poseidon is able to touch right at the last second. Lamp comes out, OP Freeze just trying to be the solo man on a mission. Block comes out as well, and now the rest of Phantom Wind are back. Serenity trying to find something. Davion just out in the corner, just finding Murph themselves. And again, that's great from Phantom Wind. OP Freeze just trying to just making a hero play, and they ended up doing it.
Yeah, exactly what I was gonna say. They just made a hero play right there. They were able to find those picks, and we saw it with 3v3 come out. We had the DPS and the Lucio on the side of both sides, and I mean, Phantom Wind, it looked like they were gonna lose that. They lost the Cassidy because they tried to take an off angle, and Foxer was able to match it, but the Blizzard comes out, they're able to find the pick on the Sojourn, able to live long enough to get that May. And I mean, now we're looking at this again. Poseidon, they have the Blizzard, they're going to be able to build that overclock soon, but Phantom Wind looks like they're going to have the window first, so that should be a key ultimate in this fight.
Yeah, Murph is forced to use the lamp very, very early, so you don't have that for this next fight. Freeze almost ends up falling, but again, ult advantage for the side of Poseidon a little bit. Lamp comes, or window comes out, so does the Freeze for the side of Milk. They is able to find Serenity, so that's your first pick for the side of Poseidon. America does find Murph, so again, that's your main heals falling for the side of Poseidon. And I think, again, that's just Phantom Wind pressing the S key a bit, getting some more abilities, coming back in. Wall comes in, so does the overclock for the side of Foxer. Noon is able to find Blue, and it's just able to completely roll in. And this is exactly what Phantom Wind did the last time. Bait Poseidon in, get them to about 20%, and then just come right back at them and just overpower them completely.
Yeah, huge pick with the High Noon. Davion was able to negate that Sojourn on the side of Foxer. That was really good. They got the spear, and they just walked on them, and were able to get the pick. Very good plays on the side of Phantom Wind, and now they're in a very good position to control. Although Poseidon, they're going to have the support ults coming up. They're going to have their Ramattrol. If Phantom Wind can get a good Blizzard here, though, it could turn the tides of this map and really give them a huge lead going into the next point.
Yeah, but Beat for the side of Calf could be used a good bit of aggressively, especially because of Terror Surge and the Blizzard on the other side, trying to find somebody alive. Serenity almost falls, does end up falling to Foxer, and Murph is able to find 2 more themselves. Beat does come off the side of Calf, but it might have been a little bit too much into it. All of Phantom Wind were dead.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit late on the commit with the Beat. I mean, it was a good play by them, though. They were able to get the Baptiste, and they were able to isolate them with the help of Foxer, and that's a very, very good play that they did there, where they were able to send the Lucio and the Sojourn off angle and just get a lot of value from that, because but Phantom Wind has not really been matching those off angles a lot, so they can keep doing that. They could be set up too, but Phantom Wind, they have the result, they have the Beat. Looks like the Beat's going to be used to counteract their Ramattrol here. You're going to have to get a huge result here, though, if you want to win this point.
Yeah, you're going to be very, very difficult. That's the Nemesis form coming out, just trying to find anything. Beat does come out for the side of Anali, and both lamps do end up falling, and that's just Blue just trying to stay alive no matter what. About 90% for the side of Poseidon. Freeze comes out, trying to find anything. Davion going aggressive and is able to fall to the side of Murph. Window does come out as well for the side of Serenity, trying to find anything. America does find 1. Overclock pops as well for Foxer, finding 1, trying to find a second one, does find a second one, trying to find 3rd, does find 3, trying to go for 4. Isn't able to find a. Calf steals it from him. And that's another point to Poseidon, 2-1, as we head into basically match point right here as we go into Palace.
Yeah, I mean, very good plays on the side of Poseidon. They were able to bait in that arrest, able to get the pick. Overclock was just able to seal the deal even when they were even in that fight. I mean, it just looks like they're getting a lot of value from these ultimates, and I mean, we see Phantom Win here. They're going to have the high noon. They've been able to get a couple of picks off the high noon, you know, pretty consistently. They're also going to be able to build the blizzard, so it looks like they should have at least some kind of an advantage here for this first fight, especially with the Orisa on the point already. But Poseidon has the high ground control. They're going to be able to set up that Sojourn and get a lot of value throughout these longer fights.
Yeah, it really is that. But even with that, Phantom Win still try for position, trying to get this. Milk does end up falling first. Noon comes out for the side of America, is able to find Foxer themselves, so that's a Sojourn down immediately. Blue just hiding in a corner, trying to stay alive and isn't able to. And again, this is Phantom Win's first time actually being able to cap the point first.
Yeah, and I mean, it comes out to that really good play by Davion on the Orisa, was able to spear the main of the wall, and they were just able to get the pick off of that. And then America's able to use the high noon, able to kind of clean up another pick. But I mean, still Phantom Win, they have a good advantage here. I mean, Poseidon, they have the beat, but is that really going to be able to counter a good blizzard? So we'll see what they do here. OP Freeze has had a pretty good blizzard earlier, so if they'll be able to do that again is kind of what we have to look at here. But Poseidon with the beat can counteract that. They're also going to be able to come up with the window as well.
Yeah, and especially too with this coming out, this is probably the best map for this. Is probably the best point for May. Blue trying to go in, trying to go aggressive, trying to find anything. Lamp does come out for the side of Murph. Lamp falls immediately. Milk is able to find an ollie, so that's your first one down. The window comes out as well as that, but the beat comes out for the side of Calf, just trying to keep everybody alive. Davion finding two, just trying to keep this point to themselves. That might be exactly what they're able to do here.
Yeah, I mean, that's just almost perfect timing on the blizzard there. I mean, even if it was a little sooner, you probably would have gotten an Ajax right there on the beat, but the blizzard alone was able to counter both of the support ultimates, and I mean, that is just massive. That is huge. And now Phantom Win is going to be going into the next point with at least a little bit of an ult advantage. I mean, Poseidon's going to have the DPS ults. They're going to probably be able to build their Ramatra ult, but I mean, initially, you're going to have the window. You're probably going to be able to build the beat. You have the Orisa ult. It's looking very good for Phantom Win here, and now we're on an actual match point here where, I mean, this first fight is probably going to determine who can win the point.
Yeah, it really can, especially too, like you mentioned, Phantom Win being close to both their support ults, whereas Poseidon, they used both at the very end of that last fight. So Phantom Win could just take this early and completely just take it on its head. They do have some fuel also for Poseidon. Looking for the boop is Calf and isn't able to find anything. Freeze comes out. Calf trying to run away, isn't able to at all. Terra Search comes out for the side of Davion, trying to find anything. It just finds the lamp themselves. Blue trying to stay alive, is a bit able to. Murph off the map. Serenity does find Milk, and again, it's all Blue in the kill feed for the second time. Phantom Win is able to cap the first point.
Yeah, I mean, very good plays on the side of Davion there. They were able to get the Baptiste. They were able to just kind of, I mean, their ultimate was also really big because it forced Blue further in. They were able to get the pick off of that, able to also get the May wall as well. And I mean, now still Phantom Win, they have an ult advantage. They have the point right now. It's looking very good for them. I mean, unless Poseidon is able to get really big value out of this from Montreal and Overclock, it's looking very tough for them, especially because they have to play into the beat. So whichever one of these ults comes out first on the side of Poseidon, it's probably going to get countered by the beat. And you also have the high noon and the window as well.
Yeah, noon comes out, so does the window for the side of Phantom Win, trying to find anything. Isn't able to find anything. Both those teams just sort of hiding in a corner, just trying to, and then that's the go button right now. Blue does end up falling immediately, though, gets deleted from the side of Poseidon. Davion is able to find another one as well, and that's just impressive. The ASCII, there's 80 seconds left. I don't think they have another fight as two get booped off.
No, I don't think they have another touch. I mean, I don't even think Blue's going to be able to get it. I mean, it was just very good on the side of Poseidon. They melted Blue. They were now very good on the side of Phantom Win. They were able to melt Blue when they were trying to walk in. Obviously, Blue probably, they heard the high noon go off. They were like, okay, the window is probably done by now. Probably just a slight miscommunication there. And that led to them getting just blown up by the window. And I mean, that looked very, very good for them. I not really much else I can say. That was just a very good, I think Davion and the Orisa has just been basically a master class. You know, I like to think of myself as quite the Orisa aficionado here around Tranquility, and this is some good Orisa gameplay. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
they look very good.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of, it's two very different playstyles going from the Diva to the Orisa, something that I don't think you can really sort of implement both things too, but especially on that Orisa as well. Phantom Win's been looking clean, they've been looking crispy. Same with that Diva comp as well. Just, if you're Poseidon right there, that's that little bit of a miscue right there. Just makes it from a point win to a point loss, especially too when you do die with the Ramatra ultimate, with the overclock as well. So that's two ultimates that you could have used there. Yes, Phantom Win, they do have the beat, and you're probably alt tracking that themselves, but that's two ultimates that could be game changing that you just die with at the very end and you're not able to win that fight. But
Yeah, it's tough, and it's a lot of these like small mistakes that you're seeing that really add up, especially on a map type like Flashpoint where you're only getting like 3 fights on a point if you're lucky, or maybe 4 if you're really lucky and you're able to get a good recontest. But I mean, it was just very good on the side of Phantom Win. They played that very well, and I really liked that Orisa kind of swap. It seems that they don't like the Diva into the Ramatra, and they have their answer. It's that Orisa. The Orisa is very strong, able to get a lot of value from it, and we are going to be going into Route 66, so that's the Poseidon map choice. They're probably going to try and take a little bit more of a dive style. It's kind of my thought process here. You could probably get away with the Orisa if you really wanted to try it, but we'll see. I do think Route's pretty open still, so it's just going to be based on what these teams think.
yeah, it's going to be difficult, and especially too, this is loser pick, so this is Poseidon's map pick, and you look at the map pool for Escort, it's Dorado, sort of dive heavy map, Route 66, sort of dive heavy map, and Watchpoint Gibraltar, dive heavy map. So all 3 of these maps sort of favor Phantom Wind. So you just got to try to pick the lesser of the 3 evils. And I think honestly, Route 66, especially point 3, being able to sort of favor that sort of brawl style that Poseidon likes, I think it could go to that sort of point 3 and just be like, hey, who isn't able to cap it the entire way? That's your winner right now.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, as you were saying, it's kind of the lesser 3 evils with Route 66 here, and I do think it's just kind of the most open, or it's like most open in terms of what you can do, what kind of comps you can run here, especially with that inside point where you're able to run that brawl style. You have a little bit more versatility, and that's probably what Poseidon's really looking at, because it seems that they have been swapping around a decent bit. Obviously, they kind of like that Ramatra, but you just played into the Orisa, did not really work out for you, although it was very close. It didn't really work out all that well. So maybe they have a few comps they want to try out here. We'll see what they want to start out on. We could see them go back to that dive style that they initially started on with Busan, but I mean, then it really didn't work out all that well. So, I mean, it's going to be, we'll see what they start out on.
Yeah. And also too, Poseidon, it's going to be tough, especially like you said, they haven't really shown that sort of dive style. The only dive style they really did was on downtown. They ended up getting that point. Or no, they did. No, they did not.
They didn't.
Phantom Wind got that point. Again, short-term memory. Can't remember anything at all. But they looked good on it, too. They didn't look terrible. And yeah, it looks like Poseidon's going back to that sort of Winston dive style, whereas Phantom Wind going for a more poke style. Again, something that does work really well on this Route 66 map.
Yeah, they could definitely get a lot of value from this, although if Poseidon plays the dive right, they should do better. They have the kind of the style matchup, because Poseidon, obviously they want, or not Poseidon, but Phantom Wind, they want to take these off angles. Poseidon's going to actually be able to contest them very well. However, if Phantom Wind can play it right, they have an opportunity to counterplay that kind of dive if you can poke out blue and, you know, kind of force them to not dive almost by getting them very low every time they try, and then, you know, these longer fights are going to go in your favor. Especially when you have the Discord, it's going to be very hard to play the Winston. However, if Poseidon plays it right, if they can play off of the nades on the side of Murph, it could be very good for them. But we'll see how they want to take this first fight. We'll see if Poseidon's actually going to swap after seeing this comp, though.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as well, as we do see another swap as well before we head into the vet. Zibdol does come back in for Freeze, playing the other Shimada brother, so playing the Hanzo instead. So I think we figured out his map pool. It's Genji and Hanzo. Jump comes in for the side of blue, just trying to vie for this gas station position. Is falling super low, though. Melk is at 1 HP, almost falls. Blue, again, also at 1 HP, is able to get basically fully healed up. But again, this is the one thing that you got to do if you're this dive sort of style. You got to try to fight for that positioning, make sure you're able to get it, and just make sure you don't go a little bit too aggressive. It looks like that's sort of what Poseidon's is somewhat doing here, especially with their supports.
Yeah, and it's very good right now that Phantom Wind is contesting the cart, but I mean, they were able to get 2 picks, and now it looks like Poseidon is just going to kind of fall over now. But yeah, I mean, it's just Poseidon really couldn't get on to Phantom Wind there. I mean, they tried to get that dive at the end, but they lost 2 as like while the Winston was mid-air, so it didn't really help him out all that much. One of the things that we saw Phantom Wind do that I really liked is they were able to contest the cart from the high ground, and that made it so Poseidon couldn't just play underneath. And then they were also able to zone out the support line outside of Poseidon, which is exactly what you want to do in this comp if you are Phantom Wind, because you have the ability to zone them out. You should be trying to do that as much as you can.
Yeah, you really can. It's a little bit off time, but America does end up falling to Foxer because of the anti-nade. Trying to stay alive. Zibdol does find one onto Foxer, so just trying to stay alive, and all he does fall to blue. And again, I want to talk about this as well. The sort of off split from the Zen and everything else is trying to stay everything alive, but that doesn't end up falling for Serenity. And again, this is exactly, if you're Poseidon, this is how you want to play the dive against this sort of comp. You want to try to find your targets, be able to get that one, get that anti-nade, and then follow up on it completely. And that's exactly what Poseidon was able to do, and be fairly close to capping this first point.
Yeah, two very good dives there, and if they can keep kind of coordinating the Winston with the DPS, then these dives can be very successful, even if you don't have the anti-nade, just because the DPS passive is going to help you out in that regard. Davion tries to touch, it's not really going to help out all that much, but now on the side of Poseidon, you're looking very good. You have 4 ultimates here. You're probably not gonna be able to build a rally by the time this next fight starts, although Milk just get picked off early. But before this is before the card's really even able to move, so don't really know how much that's gonna change in this fight. Davion is gonna swap back to the D.Va though, so they like the D.Va into the Winston matchup. That's probably what they're really looking at here, and able to kind of protect your team a little bit more if you just want to hard engage onto that Winston and play the counter dive, if you get what I'm saying there. But
yeah,
I mean, we'll see what Poseidon does here. They have the Nano. It looks like it could be massive.
Yeah, Nano coming out onto the Doomfist, as well as the Duplication Matrix. The Angry Monkey does come out as well. The Blue does find Zibdol. Foxford finds an Ollie, so that's 2 picks down for the side of them. The Copy Bob Cuds come out as well for the side of Phantom Wind, or for the side of Poseidon, excuse me, trying to find anything else. Milk does find America, so again, this is just Poseidon being able to completely roll him over. Window does come out for the side of Serenity. I wouldn't be surprised if we just see them swap off of that onto the Moira, and that's looks like exactly what Phantom Wind's going to try to go to, the D.Va style that they've been throwing so far.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to help him for that 3rd point. I mean, interesting to see how it's going to play on the 2nd point, just because it's going to be hard to get on the back line. We'll see if they even recontest here, but I mean, on the side of Poseidon, they commit a lot of ults there, but because Phantom Wind swaps, it's not really all that bad now, and you have the rally, so you're able to take this fight really aggressively.
Yeah, Rally comes in, doesn't able to stun anything at all, so they do just walk right by him, just trying to stay alive on this high ground. Foxford is able to find Serenity, Zipto finds Milk, so that's 1-1 even there. Murph getting to dove on, trying to call for help. Is anybody able to help them? There's the brig right there, right in perfect timing. Murph does end up falling though, but again, it's all red in the kill feed, just trying to stay everything alive. Bomb comes for the side of Davion, isn't able to find anything with it, but is able to break Cast's shield. Blue is able to find America, and again, this is Phantom Wind on the back rope, just not able to dealing with Poseidon's momentum. As soon as Poseidon is able to get that momentum and get the ball rolling, it's very difficult to stop him.
Yeah, and that was looking really good on the side of Phantom Wind, but I mean, maybe just of how aggressive they played, it just allowed Poseidon to get some of these opportunities to find the picks, and that really helps them out, because, you know, on the side of Phantom Wind, as soon as you lose somebody, you lose so much brawl potential. Like, no matter who it is, if you lose your Lucio, you can't go as fast. If you lose your D.Va, you don't have the DM. You lose your Moira, you don't have the heals, right? If you lose really anybody, it hurts you so much, and Poseidon's just able to get a lot of the value, especially when they're down 1 or down 2, they're still able to find picks, and maybe that's a coordination thing as well. But going into this next point, I do like Phantom Wind's comp. I mean, obviously you're playing the brawl style, and you're gonna be playing to blow up blue, but I mean, they have the primal rage. We'll see what they do here, but it looks like Phantom Wind's comp at least does better on this point.
Yeah, it really does, as America has to be forced to recall right there, getting poked by his counterpart in Foxford. Poseidon just trying to find anything to go in. Serenity falls first. That's the 2nd time that they fall first. Primal Rage does come out for the side of Poseidon, trying to find anything else. So does the Copy. Davion does end up falling as well, trying to make sure they can try to clean up anything else. Milk does find America as well, just trying to keep everything up and keep this momentum going, and it's exactly what they're going to try to do. Pulse Bomb comes out, maybe try to find something, doesn't able to find anything because of the Copy. And again, just the momentum coming into the side of Poseidon, trying to keep everything up. Both support ults are now online for the side of Poseidon. Be on the lookout for that. Murph does end up falling, but Nano does come out, I believe, onto the side of Blue. Rally does come out as well, so the raid boss is alive. And again, it's all red in the kill feed. Beat comes out for the side of Denali, trying to make sure they can try to keep everybody alive as well. And this looks like it could be finally turning to the side of Phantom Wind here because of the respawn timer.
Yeah, it just really feels like Phantom Wind is playing reactively in all of these fights. I mean, this time they're able to get blue, so that should give them this advantage here, and it looks like that's going to happen. They're going to be able to force out these last people, but I mean, again, it just feels like Phantom Wind, they're just playing so reactively, and they're allowing Poseidon to get these dives in. That's why you're seeing the Moira get picked off early, essentially every other fight, and especially when Poseidon has ults, it becomes even more dangerous because you're letting them ult. And now with Phantom Wind, they have the blade, so they have at least some kind of advantage. They have a reason to play fast, and I do think we will see them try and go first here if the Genji isn't forced out in the build.
Yeah, Zipdol almost falls, does end up falling to Milk, whereas Milk does fall themselves. It's a 1-1 trade. Trying to stay alive here is Davion, trying to poke out Blue. Isn't really able to do anything. It's just jarring for some position here, trying to get on top of Truck, especially with the Ana from Murph, trying to find anything like that. Foxer force a recall. Close to staying alive, close to falling. Both these DPSs have their ultimates as well. Davion close. Blade comes off for the side of Zipdol, trying to find anything. Does end up falling to Murph. Murph is able to be the coalescence for this thing. Belk is able to copy the Moira, trying to keep everybody alive, and that's exactly what they're able to do. Able to find America as well because of the damage orb. And again, it's all red in the kill feed, just keeping him alive. 50 seconds left, and that's going to be point capture for Poseidon. 47 seconds left. See if Phantom Wind can do any better.
Yeah, and I mean, we just saw that last fight where Phantom Wind, they had the blade, but I mean, Zipdol got forced out early, and then they kind of had to play second, and that allowed Poseidon to go faster, and they were able to find the picks. And this is what I'm saying, where when they're not playing first, they're not winning a lot of fights. And that was just kind of like the biggest piece of evidence I can show you right there, is that they don't go first with the blade, and that really hurts them out in the end because they are not able to find the picks that they need throughout the fight. They're playing on the back foot, and when you're on Moira Lucio, if you have to play on the back foot, you're just at a huge disadvantage. And that's usually just how Overwatch works, but there are some comps that, like, okay, we have a little bit of sustain here and there, so we're able to go back and push back in. With Moira Lucio, you kind of just have to go in, and then you can sustain once you have some kind of advantage in the fight, whether it's a pick or a lot of abilities that you forced out. I mean, we'll see. Maybe on the attack, Phantom Wind's able to do it a little bit easier. Obviously, like, kind of in your head, like, oh, it's defense. I mean, it's harder for us to play first because we have to go into them sometimes, or we don't like some of the angles that we have to try and push. But
yeah,
maybe the attack's going to be a little bit easier for them. I mean, like, it's just kind of something that some people think, where it's like, oh, on defense we have to play slow, we have to play second, we have to play reactively. But that's just not how it is, especially when you're on a comp like Moira Lucio. You got to go first, and you got to be willing to take that. Poseidon's been doing a really good job, though. It's just surviving some of these hits sometimes, and that's maybe what's kind of stopping Phantom Wind a little bit. Is they're kind of like, oh, we're not getting the picks, so maybe we don't go in first like that. We'll see what they do here and what kind of adjustments they make. Obviously, we're seeing America on the Widowmaker. Maybe they're going to be able to pick off Foxer's Ashe, but see what they can do here. Maybe going to get some value.
Yeah, just trying to poke and prod. Murph already at 11% to the Nano. So again, this is just one of those things that you got to do, especially on the defensive dive. You just got to try to poke and prod, try to find anything like that. America trying to find a shot, isn't able to. Just trying to poke everything down. Blue going aggressive, and does end up falling to the side of Davion, isn't able to stay alive. And again, if you're Poseidon, that can't be happening to Blue at all. Zipdol does go aggressive, is close to falling, but doesn't end up falling themselves. Foxer does them as instead. Zipdol finally falls, but again, Davion just trying to clean up everything and try to force Poseidon back and make sure they're able to catch this first point immediately.
Oh, but Davion gets picked off at the end, and Zipdol being down, it should allow Poseidon to get a retouch, especially with the Winston back. So looks like they're going to be able to force them off the point. But I mean, what we saw there is that, I mean, Blue just gets a little bit forced out. Yeah, they jump in instead of jumping out, and that allows Phantom Wind to just go in. And then one thing they've been doing very well is that when they're getting these picks, they're going in and they're getting value after that. They just have to find either those picks more, or they have to find other ways to go in as LA Murph is down.
Yeah, Murph ends up falling immediately, so that's your main source of healing now. Now all you have is the Brigitte, who does have the packs, as well as the AoE heal, but you got to be able to do some damage for it. Bomb goes off to the side of Davion, maybe trying to get some space. America trying to find a spot. Pulse comes out, isn't able to clean up anything. But again, Poseidon just able to stall this out a bit. Murph will be back soon. Zipdol does find Milk, but again, Poseidon, Murph is back, trying to go in aggressive as Blue. Blue is about half HP, trying to stay alive, and isn't end up falling. Rally comes out from the side of Calf, trying to find anything. Foxer finds an ollie finally after anything comes out, and the raid boss is on the point, trying to keep it going. Zipdol does find Murph as well, sets Murph falling as well, but the mech does end up falling from the side of Davion, and it's all Blue now in the kill feed, just trying to clean up everything else themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, I was almost going to say very good job at keeping Blue alive, and that would have helped them turn the fight, although Milk is able to get a pick here. Maybe this fight isn't over if they can find one more, but it looks like Blue is going to get picked off right here, and it might spell the end of this fight. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Milk was able to get one more than maybe, but I mean, it's always rough there, especially when it's basically 4v1 and you're half HP.
Yeah, and that was almost a really, really good fight by Poseidon, because we saw Blue get very low. They were able to build the Nano, they were able to build the rally off of that, keep them alive, but I mean, it's just Phantom Wind was able to get on the backline in that mid fight. They were able to kill Diana, and that just helped them take over the rest of the fight. If they can keep looking for stuff like that, that's going to help them out a lot more. But it seems like they're really only engaging when they're up by so much, and Blue gets very low, has to get out. But I mean, Poseidon has the nano, so they should be able to get a good re-engage going here.
Yeah, they really should. Murph looking to nano the Winston, looking to just try to find that opening. As soon as they're able to get that go button go, it looks like that's going to be the goal. Nano does come in, as well as the anti-nade, trying to find a good target, and isn't really able to find anything. America does end up falling. Zibdol finding Murph, and maybe finding the Brig as well. Does find the Brig finally after a few more swings. And again, this is all Blue in the kill feed. Bob does come off the side of Foxer, who is able to fight Serenity before falling themselves. So again, this is that stall coming in for Milk. And again, now it's actually Poseidon turning it after those ultimates coming out for the side of Phantom Wind.
Oh man, Milk was able to get 3, I think, there, and the Bob also by Foxer kind of forces Phantom Wind back as well. But now Phantom Wind, they have both the support ults. Poseidon doesn't really have anything to match. I mean, Poseidon used the nano there in that last fight. We weren't really able to get a lot of value because who are you going to dive? It's very hard unless you can get on the Widowmaker or the Genji somehow. It's going to be very tough, but Phantom Wind has a lot of ults that should be very good for them.
Yeah, Serenity falls very low, uses the Coalescence, trying to stay alive and try to heal up the rest of their team. Genji going in, that's the dive onto the Widowmaker, I believe. And Blue is just in the backline of the entirety of Phantom Wind and trying to stay alive. As it finally falls to the side for Davion. And again, that's your main tank gone, that's your main tank gone, but Milk is able to find a Nolly, trying to just keep this fight going and keep it going completely. Is Poseidon just trying to find something and just trying to make sure that they're not giving up the second plate for free.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just Blue is going in for these dives, but not really able to find a lot of the value. And it's a lot of times they're going in by themselves and they're just getting blown up. And now that could just be a communication thing. Maybe the DPS aren't set up, stuff like that. But I think this also comes down, Davion on the Diva is doing a very good job of just marking the Winston every fight. And it's making it so hard for Blue to really get anything done. And that's probably what Davion feels comfortable with doing. And I mean, a lot of times they're winning these fights because Poseidon is making some kind of mistake like that, and they're able to get a pick, and then they play fast. If Poseidon plays a little bit slower, they might have a better chance here, just because you're not going to be giving them that kind of instant reason to go in that is helping Phantom Wind win a lot of these fights. So if Poseidon can force Phantom Wind to make some of these mistakes a little bit more, could help them out. But I mean, this third point could be a little better for them.
Ooh, yeah, as America almost does it, almost falls. Isn't falling just yet as the Primal Rage does come out for the side of Blue. Hacked up is Davion. They know they have the bomb now, so they just got to play a little bit wary of that. And that's Milk ended up finding Serenity, so it's Phantom Wind just pressing the S key, just saying, hey, yeah, you guys won that one. You guys popped a few ultimates. But hey, guess what? Our spawn is right here. We still got 2 minutes remaining to try to cap this all the way.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if America's going to swap. I just think it's going to be hard to get good angles here, especially when you have to play against a Sombra Tracer. I would like to see Murph, maybe you can nano the Tracer, because obviously the Winston, I mean, you can keep him alive here. Maybe he can get some value if they can get a good hack off, but it does not look like they're going to be able to find a kill here.
Yeah, Nano comes in super early, so does the EMP, but Blue does end up falling. Foxer is able to find America and isn't able to get out, unfortunately. So again, Phantom Wind up 2 right now. Still has the Nano, still has the Blade, as well as the Coalescence. So if you're able to get something going, you're able to clean them up fairly well as Poseidon are just trying to press the S key and try to get out of there. Coalescence popped early for Serenity, trying to just find something out and trying to just make sure they can do some damage. But guess what? The spawn is right there. They still have the Rally coming out. Trying to go aggressive is Blue, trying to find anything at all. Half HP, trying to keep it alive. Anti-nade onto Davion, still and just falling back a bit. Nade comes out, so does the beat for an Ollie. Trying to make sure they can try to keep everybody else alive. Calf does end up falling, so does Murph. Murph finally ends up falling. Pulse Bomb come off the side of Milk. Does find a Nolly, so that's 1 for each side, as well as the mech onto Davion. Zibdol does find 1 more. Foxer fight America. Zibdol trying to clean up everybody else and is able to a bit. Calf on the Lucio does find Serenity, trying to just keep this contested a bit more. Trying to make sure they can try to come everything else come back. Murph come back on the Moira, trying to clean it up. Zibdol does end up falling, maybe 11 HP, doesn't end up falling actually, and that's all Blue in the kill feed. Zibdol staying alive with 11 HP, just trying to clean up everything they can, and this Phantom Wind is looking to clean this fight up.
Well, some of these picks come out. Never mind. I almost said they had a chance there, and then 2 people got picked off, but I mean, pretty good stall fight on the side of Poseidon there. They're able to buy at least a little bit more time. And I mean, hey, Zibdal able to stay alive there, and they're able to find 2 picks after being 11 HP. Very good for them. But really, that comes down to Phantom Wind. They took a lot of initiative before Poseidon had the opportunity to recontest. And again, I've been saying this. I feel like I'm a broken record here. I've been saying this basically every fight, is that when they're playing first, they are winning. And that time we saw them, they were able to hold really aggressively. They had the coalescence, and then you forced Poseidon to use ults to get out of that space. To get out of their spawn, they had to use rally. And then we saw Mariko was able to find the pick on the Brig after the rally, and then they were able to find the pick onto the Ana. And I mean, after a very, very long fight, they were able to kind of close it out. And I mean, that looked pretty good for Phantom Wind. They're able to take a little bit more initiative, but a lot of these fights are taking initiative off of our when Poseidon makes a mistake, whether it's blue going in or they somehow are able to pick off Murph for the Brig, and just getting value like that. It's not, I don't feel like it's as guaranteed, right? Because the thing is, if you're relying on just, oh, my DPS are going to get a pick or they're going to make a mistake, there's going to be times where Poseidon's not going to make a huge mistake that you're going to be able to capitalize off of, or maybe my Widow's not going to get a perfect sightline to get value off of. So you kind of have to be willing to force some of these mistakes a little bit by playing more aggressive. However, we're going to see they're going to go to the Kiriko, so you're going to have a little bit of opportunities to get value off the Kiriko headshots, and also having the Suzu to counter an anti-nade is huge, because and a good anti-nade here can win Poseidon the fight, but now that you have the Suzu, it can help you out a lot more.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better. Just that Suzu, just to make sure, hey, we have that little bit of intermodality, as well as making sure if we don't eat the anti-nade from Murph, we do have that sort of counter to it, as we see that almost immediately, but it doesn't catch on to Davion. Davion's still at about half HP, still trying to get healed up a bit more, still just trying to poke and prod and fight for this momentum, and that's exactly what Poseidon is trying to do. Milk does get picked up from America, trying to fight anything like that, but Davion is about to fall. Suzu comes out and is still alive, surprisingly like that, and that's the go button for the side of Phantom Wind. Try to find some early picks. Davion still trying to just stay alive. That's exactly what they're able to do as the overtime timer is just about to start popping.
A huge pick on the calf, but we'll see if they're going to be able to find more picks. America's able to kill Foxer, and that should give Phantom Wind the win here. I mean, they're down a lot of the damage that they would have had by losing the Genji, but I don't think Poseidon's going to be able to get a good recontest here. If it is, it's going to be a 4v4. Phantom Wind will be able to build the Kitsune rush. It looks like Poseidon is going to try and touch here, and Ollie's trying to stuff the Winston in the room by themselves.
Yeah, Blue trying to find something to try to get into. Nate does come out, isn't able to find anybody. Davion does fall asleep for a quick second, but is able to come back alive. Blue ends up falling about 5% off from his rampage, from his angry miss. I can't remember the name of it right now, but yeah, it's all Blue in the kill feed, and it's all Phantom Wind. Bomb does come off the side of Milk, so does the rally, so actually Poseidon could be trying to turn this right here. They do have the nano up as soon as they come back, but the Kitsune rush comes up for the side of Serenity. Blade as well for the side of Fox, and try to find one, finds two, finds three, and they didn't cap first point. That's as far as Phantom Wind got. Poseidon, they do basically have to cop all of first point, but it is doable with 1:20 left.
Yeah, really big rally at the end there was able to kind of clean it up for them. I mean, they were just, I don't really know how they're dying in some of these mid fights, especially when they have these kind of advantages, but I mean, who really knows what's happening there. I do really like what Poseidon was doing is on kind of this first part of their defense, where they weren't really like initiating a dive. They were kind of playing and forcing Phantom Wind to make mistakes, and they were able to find a pick, although Mariko was kind of able to match by killing the Tracer, and that's just something that you can't really predict. So you send your Tracer to go 1v1 the Widowmaker, you expect that you have the advantage there, right? But I mean, I don't know. It just didn't really work out for Phantom Wind as the time went on. They're gonna go with the Widowmaker again, so they really trust Mariko on this Widowmaker to get some of these picks. And if Poseidon is going to play the Echo, could work out. But I mean, Phantom Wind, they're sticking with what they know. They're going to go with the Diva. They're going to go with the Genji. And they're going to probably play very defensive here. And that's kind of the good thing about running the Diva when you have the Widowmaker, is you can play defensive and you can kind of counter all of Blue's dives. So you're just kind of playing for your Widowmaker to win you these long fights.
Yeah, you really are just trying to get to it, trying to make sure you can sort of poke and prod and be able to fight for Big Earls as well. I think if you get Big Earls control, if you're Poseidon here, I think that could be the game point basically right there. But again, just trying to poke and prod for all this information that they can.
Yeah, and it looks like, I mean, America's just kind of sitting in the back waiting for somebody to peek, and they're able to find a pick.
Yeah, there's the pick on the calf. That's exactly what they wanted, but America does end up falling, but that is one of your supports Dawn for the side of Poseidon, so you can't really go as aggressive as you really wanted to yourself. So you still have Merciful Lives, does try to take advantage of the big Earls. Sleeping a bit is the Lucio. Serenity is forced to use the Suzu fairly early. The back does fall for the side of Davion, so again, this is Phantom Wind on the back foot. Davion does end up falling as well. And yeah, Phantom Wind just pressing the Esky, getting out of there, trying to get one more fight before the points end.
Yeah, and I mean, losing the Brig, obviously it hurts, but Poseidon just played first, and obviously the Brig's not going to be in those fights. So it didn't really feel like they were missing all that much value. They were able to get a solid nade. They were able to find the picks off of that. We'll see if Phantom Wind's going to be able to get touch. It looks like they will. It might be early.
Yeah, Foxford does fall immediately, but Davion is about to fall themselves. 27 health does end up falling because of the mech. Zipdol is able to find calf, so that's another calf fallen. Hoppy comes out onto the Lucio for some reason. Blue is able to find a knowledge, so that's one more Dawn for the side of Phantom Wind. Poseidon still trying to just stay alive, trying to get this beat as soon as they can and find something else. Blue is trying to stay alive, does have the Primal Rage up, so is able to pop it. Milk is able to find two more, just trying to keep their team alive is Poseidon, and that's exactly what they're able to do. Eternity falls, and we're headed to a map 5.
Yeah, I mean, that comes down to Milk on the Echo, was able to find a lot of key picks down the line, and I mean, that was a very, very good map for the side of Poseidon there. Obviously, Blue was able to stay alive long enough to get that Primal Rage, but I mean, it felt at the end there, I mean, Poseidon just played first. Right, I feel like they're getting so much value by playing first and getting these anti-nades, and when you're Phantom Wind and you're running a Lucio and you're not playing faster than a team without a Lucio, you're kind of at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, especially too, it's just sort of two different styles of that dive comp that we've been seeing. The Lucio sort of Moira is a lot more of a brawl style, and it's just one of those things where you got to feel comfortable and you have to go first. You talked about that a lot, like with the Moira Lucio, you have to go first. We saw it a lot in Overwatch 1 and early Overwatch 2 with sort of the zombie comp, where it's like, hey, yes, we're running these dive characters, but guess what? We're going first. We're going faster, and as soon as you use one of your abilities, guess what? We're taking advantage of it. So it's tough, especially heading into this map 5, where we will be going to a push map. It is Phantom Wind's pick. What do you see from these teams that could lead to your sort of suggestion for a map pick?
I mean, we know they both favor this, fast Lucio style, at least. I mean, we saw Poseidon got a lot of value from the Brig, right? But
yeah,
they did play the Lucio BAP, and they did win a map with it. So
yeah,
if they want to do that again, I mean, obviously it is the Phantom Wind map choice, so they're going to choose something that you don't want to see May on, or you don't want to see kind of that divey style. So, I mean, what are your choices there? I mean, you can probably go New Queen Street, although there's some pretty solid high grounds going into that first checkpoint. You have Esperanza that also has some pretty solid high grounds, but they're accessible if you're, trying to attack and take over those high grounds. They're pretty accessible. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, and Coliseo has the main, bridge high ground over first point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all these points could work out for the Ana Brig if Poseidon wants to stick with that. However, I do think there's a lot of counterplay still, no matter which map that Phantom Wind wants to choose. I think they have a lot of counterplay to it. They can play fast. Again, they just have to play fast, and I think that is kind of the key thing that we have to see. I don't necessarily think the map is going to change all that much about what these teams see. I mean, maybe we'll see the Ana Brig on New Queen Street or something like that, but if Phantom Wind's able to take tempo, they're able to speed onto the high grounds, it could negate all of that. So it really comes down to what they favor.
Yeah, and of course, as we see the map screen, it's going back and forth between these two teams. We'll be taking a quick break. I'm going to catch my breath really fast because I was losing breath in the last map, and give these teams a little bit of time to think about it, what they want to do, try to get some rest, maybe go to the restroom or not. We'll be seeing you right after this quick little short break.
Make us come together and it's alright. That's when you remember who you are. Over there tomorrow when we're alright. That's when we forget just who we are. Make us come together and it's alright. That's when you remember who you are. Remember who you are.
Well, we're back, map 5, Coliseo. I mean, what more can you really say about it? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the final day of week 1 of season 12 for Tranquility. It's going to be a tough one. As we talked about it a bit, Coliseo, I think both these teams could really show some stuff, especially with that Ramatra versus Diva comp that we saw on Route 66, these sort of little high grounds that they have. What's your thoughts coming out of it now that we officially know that it's Coliseo?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very, very interesting matchup. I know what you were talking about, where we're going to see the Ramatra versus Diva very likely. Maybe we see Poseidon want to roll out on that Winston on a Brig if they want to take that, if they want to take the high grounds, play a lot of distance. But I do think we will see probably the Ramatra, the Bap Lucio, and the Mei again. And I mean, we saw the mirror on Servasa. We saw Phantom win. They just swapped to the Orisa, and that worked very well for them. We'll see if they want to do that again. I think it's going to work a lot better on Coliseo, and I actually am kind of expecting them to play the Orisa over the Diva just because they're probably predicting they're going to see Poseidon and the Ramatra. But, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we just have to see what is going on with either of these teams. I do think that is kind of what I'm expecting. I think that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we do say that Ramatra or Orisa sort of style that we saw in Saravasa. But again, this series has been such back and forth that it's just who's able to really do it. As food looks so good right now, and I know what our observers are doing, because I know that they were saying they were hungry. So I know this is sort of saying that they want ice cream. I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm gonna take a guess at that. But I mean, heading into it, we do see a swap as well. I want to talk about this really fast. Opie Freeze back in for Zebd. Somebody who had a really good showing on Saravasa with that Mei, so we could be seeing that sort of style come out again. But it's one of those things, as we do see it come out. I do see a Torb on the side of Poseidon. I'm not going to say anything about it because we could be getting debated, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good pick. I like it.
Yeah, I like what Phantom Wind's running. I mean, they looked good on this comp, especially Davion on that Orisa was able to get a lot of value. We'll see what America's going to stay on. I do think they'll probably go to the Sojourn. I feel like that's a little bit better. Okay, now they're going to stay on the cast. Maybe they expect maybe have to deal with a flanker here or there. But Poseidon, they're going to go to their Amatra. They're going to stay in the May. I mean, really the key thing is going to be looking at, I mean, Milk on the May was getting a lot of value on King's Row, but we'll see. I mean, Phantom Wind looked really good on this Orisa, so it's pretty even for them.
Yeah, it really is. Both these teams sort of jarring for the position here. Davion and Phantom Wind getting the sort of early sort of hallway. I don't really know what to call it. This little cubby hole into the little right. Just trying to find anything. Wall does come out for the side of Milk. Doesn't really able to find anything else. But again, this is exactly what they want. Poseidon does use the early lamp, so that's the stuff coming out. Serenity does fall super low, but again, no picks so far on either side. They're still just trying to fight for the position. And as I say, Davion is the first one to fall, so that's your main take gone, and that's the go button for the Poseidon. Nemesis form does come out, trying to find anything. Foxer finding two more, and again, that's Phantom Wind pressing the S key, trying to get out of there and trying to regroup fully with their team.
Yeah, it really felt like Foxer got a lot of value in the fight. Obviously, we saw in the beginning they were able to hit a huge rail shot on the Baptiste. Not able to get the kill, but forced them back and allowed them to continue to poke at Davion on the Orisa. I mean, these longer fights, I mean, we are going to see America going to swap to the Sojourn, so they have a little bit more contest in the Sojourn mirror, and now we're basically seeing a complete mirror except Davion and the Orisa versus the Ramatra, so I do think Phantom Wind has a slight advantage here, but Poseidon, they're going to be getting the DPS ults first. Phantom Wind's going to have the window, so we'll see how this fight goes. Obviously, they don't have the ults yet, though.
Yeah, Milk able to find that pick on America, so that's that one opening already for the side of Poseidon. Still trying to go in. Lamp does end up falling almost immediately as it was placed. Freeze trying to get poked out a bit from the side of Poseidon, just trying to go into it. That's exactly what ends up happening. Wall isn't able to catch anything, and again, this is just Phantom Wind on the back right, just trying to go straight to it. Davion just trying to struggle with the car, and it falls super late. And that's still them just trying to go into the spawn, trying to get some extra picks, and finally Poseidon just trying to back off and could be getting to this could be to the checkpoint right away.
Yeah, Poseidon has 5 ults. I mean, we saw the situation before where one of these teams had 5 ults. It didn't really work out all that well for them, but do think it's going to be better here just because, I mean, Phantom Wind would have to win so many more fights to get to this point, but I mean, looks like they're going to win this fight.
Yeah, both freezes come out. America and OP Freeze are able to find one for themselves, and it is Phantom Wind being able to try to get this point, still trying to stay alive as well. Everything is just sort of going in, and again, Poseidon, they only use that one ultimate right there with Milk's freeze, so they still have 4 ultimates to themselves. Again, Phantom Wind, they do only have 2 ultimates of their own alive, as well as Anali being close to that beat.
Yeah, I think 5 ults is just a curse. It's got to be something up with that. But,
probably.
Probably they're just overthinking it. I mean, you have the ult advantage. Don't be afraid to match ults, especially if you know you have 5 ults and they don't. You can match ults. You can trade ults. So like when they use Blizzard, you can use Beat to counter. You can use Window to counter or something like that. You just have to make sure you call it. But now Phantom Wind's a little bit closer on the ult matchup. They're going to be coming up with both support ults. But Poseidon, they still have more. They're going to use the Window early.
Yeah, Window comes out trying to make sure everything alive. Foxer does find America, so that's their go button right away. Phantom Wind just trying to back off completely. Well, Freeze is still trying to be a little menace to them. Window comes out to the side of Serenity as well. Freeze is able to find their counterpart in Milk. Foxer is trying to find anything else. Serenity does find their counterpart as well with the Baptiste. And Foxer isn't able to really find anything. Finally, they will find Anali on the Lucio, but again, it's Phantom Wind sort of staying alive through all this as well.
However, Foxer does find 2 picks at the end here. It's going to probably at least force Phantom Wind to get out, especially if they're going to be able to contest the point. But, I mean, really good job by Anali there, which is being so annoying to Foxer, not really able to find picks with the overclock. Eventually, we're able to pick Anali, but by that point, the overclock was gone. So now, Phantom Wind, they're going into this next fight. They're going to have both DPS ults. They're going to have the Orisa ult. They have the beat as well. Poseidon doesn't really have as much to match, but Milk will be getting that Blizzard at least by the time this fight starts, especially with the amount of poke they're doing here.
And not to mention as well, both these teams still do have the beat. Wall does come out, Freeze comes out as well for both sides. Still just trying to drive for that position, and Ollie does end up freezing and ends up falling almost immediately. Beat comes out for the side of Calf, trying to make sure they can try to keep it going. America does use the overclock. Davion is able to find one, Foxer able to find one of their own. America trying to keep this one alive, but Foxer is just able to keep it going. And again, it's all Poseidon just staying alive. It just keeps on just sort of overpowering Phantom Wind.
Yeah, able to win a very scrappy fight there. Obviously, both teams are right. They both were forced to commit a lot of ults to try and win that. But I mean, now we're looking at the ult matchup again. Phantom Wind does seem to have the advantage. They're gonna have both of the support ults compared to Poseidon only having the overclock. And I mean, the beat's gonna counter the overclock very likely. So you have to try and get as much value as you can with this window because that's kind of your big play here, especially because you're not going to have any other ults for the next fight just because you're so low on everything because you comboed everything. So we'll see what they do here. If they're able to find a pick with the window, they should be set for the next fight at least, but we'll see what goes on here.
Yeah, especially too with the wall falling super early. Window's about to come out. Window does end up falling a little bit too aggressive, it seems like. Isn't able to really get all that sort of useful out of it. Wall is a little bit bad, and window lamp does come out as well. Overclock out for the side of Fox and finds one, finds two, trying to find the third, and again the beat doesn't come out for the side of Anali, just holding on to it completely, try to get that third, and the beat comes out super late, only finds 3 of their own. Opie Freeze is able to find a counterpart in Milk, so maybe this could have been a good, maybe this could be good. Foxford is able to find Davion and Fox is trying to go for the ace completely, trying to find all 5 members of Phantom Wind. Again, Phantom Wind just seems to be sort of stiff with the momentum from Poseidon.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit late on the beat there. I mean, I don't really know necessarily what they were waiting on. Maybe they were waiting on getting some abilities back, and then you could push in with the beat, but it was just a little too late because Verica slides in and just gets picked off by the Soldier. And Foxer's been having a really good map on the Soldier, by the way. And now Poseidon has a lot of ults. They are in a really good position to win this, especially if this Blizzard's huge.
Yeah, Milk using the freeze, trying to find anything, but does end up falling for themselves. So that's one on the side of America. Just trying to keep everything else. Window comes out as well as the freeze, trying to find stuff. Davion is able to find one, and it's a majority of Poseidon frozen up. And I mean, hey, if you're able to just use the window for two, if you really use your freeze for 2 Poseidon ultimates, I mean, you'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good trade, and now Poseidon, they're going to be at a slight ult. Well, I mean, they're going to be pretty even. They're going to have the tank ult, and the beat's going to hopefully counter the Soul ult. We'll see if they do it on time, but this could be a bigger risk ult. Maybe you use it early, maybe to force out that beat and get your Soul ready for a huge ult.
Yeah, Nemesis form and the ultimate comes out as well. Terra Search able to find path, so Davion finds one more as well, but the Annihilation is still up and going. Overclock for the side of America, trying to whittle down blue, and is able to finally end up falling. And now this is Phantom Wind finally gaining an advantage here and getting that first checkpoint.
Yeah, it looks like America's going to get picked off there. It looks like Phantom Wind just has to back off here, but that's huge. I mean, it's going to be probably 2 fights before they get to that spot that Phantom Wind is at, so very good on the side of Phantom Wind. Poseidon, they're going to have some ults here, though. They still have the beat, so have the chance to play first with beat if you want to. Also, having the Soul ult is going to be massive as well, because I mean, Foxer has been, you know, very good on the Soul ult. Obviously, they had that one Soul ult that didn't really work out all that much, but we'll see what they do here. Phantom Wind, they do have the window. They're going to be building up that window, so we'll see what goes on in this fight.
Yeah, Foxer's looking for the overclock, could be popping it very soon, about half HP. Almost falls, but isn't able to. Window coming up for the side of Serenity, as well as the overclock for the side of Foxer. Foxer trying to find anything. Window finally comes up for the side of Serenity, trying to make sure they can keep everybody up, and that's just the S key for the side of Poseidon. They don't really want to fight with the window up and ready to go. Davion is able to find Milk and just isn't able to find anything else. Blue is able to find Freeze, so that's both mazed out, as well as the beat coming out for the side of Calf. Just trying to stay alive is all of Poseidon and try to keep on vying for this position. If they're able to find one more, they're able to do it. Foxer super low. Beat comes out for the side of Anali. Just trying to keep everybody alive. Terra Surge as well for the side of Davion. Is able to find Murph. Just keeps on going back and forth between these 2 teams. And again, it's Phantom Wind. It looks like they're about to lose it, and now again they're getting that momentum right back up.
Yeah, very huge beat by Anali. They was able to keep everybody up at the end of that fight, and now, I mean, we didn't really see all that many ults get thrown into that fight, so this next fight could be pretty big. I mean, we saw Phantom Wind, they used the Orisa ult, they used the window early on, they used the beat. They're going to have the DPS ults though. Poseidon doesn't necessarily have anything to really match. They don't have the beat to match the OC, but a window here could be massive.
Oh yeah, but America is able to find Milk right away, so that's one already down before you're able to use it. Freeze comes out as well. Blue is able to find one of their own. Freeze is able to find Caps as well, and one more. Foxer almost gets booped off the edge, but Freeze is able to freeze him up, getting the 4K and just cleaning everybody up right there. Less than 30 seconds remaining, and it's Phantom Wind's map to lose.
Yeah, likely we are going to see Phantom Wind back off of here at least a little bit. They're down the support line, but huge plays by OP Freeze was able to get a 4K. A lot of that is set up by Davion actually going in first, getting onto the backline, forcing the immortality. Barely lives there, but Phantom Wind, they're going to have the overclock. They'll be able to build the window by the mid fight. See what they can do here. Poseidon only has their Amatral. Likely that it's going to probably get countered by one of these ults coming up on the side of Phantom Wind, though.
Yeah, America does have the overclock, so don't be surprised if we see them try to pop it super early. As I say, that overclock gets popped up, so does the Rampage for the side of Poseidon, trying to find anything that they can. That's the W key going in, but the window comes out for the side of for the side of Serenity, sorry. And it just completely stops Poseidon in their tracks. They aren't able to really go into it because they don't want to deal with that extra damage. And again, Blue just getting bullied in a corner by the entirety of Phantom Wind, just trying to sail that. Terra Surge comes out, trying to find anything, is able to get two people super low down, and Phantom Wind takes week 1 versus Poseidon.
Yeah, I mean, they looked very good in that last map. Obviously, that Orisa is very strong, and they, you know, we talked about that they liked that Diva, and they had a couple of good maps on it, but this Orisa style looked very good for them. Obviously, OP Freeze on that May was massive here, and this is when they get their 4K, I believe. They were able to use Wizard too. Yep. Just very good on the side of Phantom Wind, but can't really take anything away from Poseidon here because they looked very good in the series. They were very competitive, and they had a lot of good maps. I'm very interested to see how they do, but Phantom Wind, I mean, they just looked incredible with it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this is a major just back and forth matchup between these two teams. Both these teams could have had a chance to do it if it went one certain way other than another. Maybe Phantom Wind could have 3-0'd if they were a little bit more aggressive, but as we look at this map screen, just as you can see right here, back and forth, and it sort of sucks that Phantom Wind was the one to get the first win, because I think if it was Poseidon, then it would be Poseidon getting that win there. But again, this could have gone any other way. All these times really went into overtime, and again, it was just a great matchup all around.
Yeah, I mean, what this shows me too is that when they were able to take a lot of these brawl matchups, it felt like they were doing very good. Other than King's Row, they didn't really adapt to their Amatra as well as they could have, but then going into the third map after halftime, they sat down, okay, we gotta change something up. They go to the Orisa, looked good. Then Route 66, you're playing against the Winston, it's a little bit different. Obviously, Poseidon looked very comfortable on that map, went down to the end, but they were able to win that. And then, you know, Phantom Wind, they're able to go to Coliseo, go to that Orisa again, played against their Amatra, and it just worked very well. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just unfortunate. They were the ones that started off with the win. They were able to get their map choices right and help them win the game.
Yeah, and I mean, before we head off and before we do our goodbyes and everything like that, I want to give out an MVP of the match. Foxford played really good. I want to sort of get your opinion on it. Foxford played really good for Poseidon. Obviously, I don't want to really give it to a losing team because I feel like that's sort of unsportsmanlike. From Phantom Wind, who do you think deserves that MVP? Because I feel like it could go to multitude of different people.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I talked about a lot. I'm an Orisa guy. I loved seeing Davion on the Orisa. They had a lot of really big plays, and that was kind of the main adjustment that I really think helped them win. Obviously, bringing in OP Freeze on the May helped out a lot too, but I mean, they looked good on the Orisa. They were able to kind of bully Blue a lot of times. It's not necessarily even like a skill thing. It's just the character. It's just Orisa plays good in their Amatra, and that's just tough to really deal with if you're Blue. And like, I've been on the other side of that matchup too. It's not very fun. Obviously, you can't really do much if you're their Amatra. You kind of just have to sit there and hope things go your way. But then this time, so I would personally say Davion, but I think you could really give it to really any of the players on this team. Especially OP Freeze had an amazing plays on the May, and that really helped them win those the two maps that they were able to play the May on.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you couldn't have said it any better, but I mean, OP Freeze coming in for those two maps, just being able to pop off, have those hero plays, and basically carry Phantom Wind to the end zone. I think he wins my MVP just because of those two solo hero plays that he made. That was that just completely turned it around. But anything you want to shout out before we say goodbye to everybody here?
No, I mean, I just these are two very good teams, and very excited to see what they do for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it is. And for Tall, for everybody in the back, Orange, Barry, and myself included, we'll see you all next week. We head into week 2 of season 12.
Make us come together and it's alright. That's when you remember who you are.